Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Nick Noble, and this is The Proof, the bi-weekly whiskey show brought to you by Ghost Riot Radio. We go every other Wednesday here on this show. Welcome to episode number 3 of The Proof, hosted today by Cask and Ale in Sarasota, Florida. If any of you are already watching the Ghost Riot Radio show, you know that we have a healthy love for whiskey on this channel. We decided to take that love and turn it into a completely separate show and add it to the lineup on the Ghost Riot Radio channel here on YouTube. This week, folks, I am joined by two amazing gentlemen. First, to my right, on the end here is Mr. Nick Daidone. Daidone. God, I'm so bad at that. All right, good. Daidone it is. Awesome. How are you, brother?
Doing well.
Fantastic. Good to see you. And if you watched last week's episode, you know this gentleman. This is Mr. Gerry Flanagan of Breakthrough Beverage. Gerry, how are you, sir?
I'm doing all right.
Glad to hear it.
Feeling a little peaked, but if you can just entertain me for a second.
Are you going to be all right?
Let me fill out this prescription.
Oh, he just has his own prescription pad.
Can I get this filled? Can somebody run to get that filled for me, please? Thanks.
Whoa, the service here is amazing.
It's great.
Are you going to be okay, Gerry? Do we have something to worry about?
No, I think we'll be okay. Oh, good. The prescription came already.
That's perfect.
There you go, Gerry. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Colin, do you run a pharmacy too? Good God. Thank you, sir.
Hold on. Let me put the finishing touches on that.
Oh, please.
That's the Peat Monster.
Oh.
Spray.
Yeah, if you get a little extra of that on me, I'm not going to cry.
Thank you, sir.
We're going to turn it into a new men's cologne.
All right. So, Gerry, what did you get prescribed for us today? Folks,
All
if you
right.
can see this here, I don't...
All right, as you can see from the display, we're going to do the whiskeys of Compass Box.
Oh.
And one of the cocktails that's become very popular is the penicillin cocktail.
Awesome.
And you can see that so that you're safe, we have the prescription attached to it. And it's made with their Great King Street blended Scotch whiskey.
Okay.
Some fresh lemon juice.
Okay.
A little bit of the Peat Monster. And down at the end is a honey ginger syrup that they add to this.
No kidding.
And then we sprayed it with a little bit more of the Peat Monster.
Just to give it a little extra something?
I figured we'd do something fun to get started off before we get serious
Well,
drinking.
then
So
cheers, gentlemen.
cheers.
Nick, welcome to the team.
Cheers. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, gang. So,
All right.
that doesn't suck.
No, it doesn't.
Wow.
Oh, I'm feeling much better already.
Already, immediately better. I love this setup. Where did who came up with this with the little clothespins and the prescription pad?
The wonderful people from Compass Box.
You gotta love those guys.
Oh, they're wonderful, wonderful people.
This is fantastic.
So,
Awesome.
let me talk a little bit about Scotch.
Yeah, I think it's a great
to
idea.
clear it up
Jump
for
right
everybody.
in, please.
So, when we look at Scotch, there's different types of Scotch.
Okay.
There's blended Scotch whiskey.
Right.
Which is a blend of single malt and grain whiskey.
Right.
That's your Dewar's, your Chevis, your Johnny Walkers.
Mm-hmm.
From there, you have single malt Scotch, which is made from 100% malted barley.
Okay.
And then the other one is grain whiskey.
Okay.
Those are the 3 different Scotches. Then underneath that, we have what I call subcategories.
Right.
Where you'll have used to be called vatted malts, but
Okay.
the Scotch Whisky Association is just wanting to confuse the consumer. So now they're called blended malt whiskeys.
Right.
A blended malt whiskey would be taking a whiskey from this distillery, from that distillery of different ages,
Correct.
marrying them together. Then you have a blended grain whiskey. Again, taking different distilleries, different ages, putting them together.
Okay.
The founder of this company, John Glazer, is an icon in the whiskey industry. He worked for Johnny Walker for many years, and in 2000, he had an idea to come up with a boutique whiskey line.
Oh.
He took it to the people from Johnny Walker, said they're not interested. He resigned. He's a Minnesota boy, but has a flat in London, and decided to create this boutique whiskey line of Compass Box.
Okay.
John's vision is making whiskeys not based on an age statement, but he's a master blender. He wants to weave whiskeys the way a chef would weave food.
Oh, okay.
So it's all about the flavor. And he started this whiskey. Over the years, he's won Innovator of the Year. I think it's up to 5 times now, which is absolutely unheard of in our business. If you win it once or twice, that's great.
Right.
He's won awards for his labels, the whiskeys. He even does limited ranges that come out periodically.
Wow.
So what I've brought with us this evening is his signature range.
Okay.
And I've got the Asila, which is his version of a blended Scotch whiskey. the Hedonism, which is 100% grain whiskey. From there, we go into his Oak Cross,
Okay.
Spice Tree, Peat Monster, and then that little bottle at the end is their honey ginger syrup.
And that's actually made by them.
It's made by them, and if
kidding.
somebody wants to feature this cocktail and they buy the different ingredients, we also supply them with that honey ginger syrup,
Amazing.
which is easier to get from us as opposed to having to make it.
Sure. Okay, cool. Made exclusively for Compass Box.
Yep.
Oh, I see. Awesome. All right, this is cool. So here, let's see.
We've got some bars featuring this in the marketplace up on Anna Maria, even the doctor's office. This is one of their featured cocktails.
We have a buddy who works at the doctor's office. We've been meaning to make a trip, so we're definitely going to go say what's up to those guys.
Oh, which buddy is that?
Christopher.
Oh, okay.
He also kind of splits his time over at State Street.
Yeah, he's over full-time now at the doctor's office.
Oh, didn't know that.
So what I wanted to do is you can see all the whiskeys, and if you guys are up for it, we can taste through all of these.
Let's get started.
So the first whiskeys that we have are his signature range.
Okay.
Which starts over here with his Asila.
Okay.
Then he does the two Great King Streets.
Right.
So these are blended Scotch whiskeys.
Okay.
So it's a blend of single malt and grain whiskeys.
Okay.
Most of the blended Scotch whiskeys that are out there have about 30% single malt, at the highest 70% grain whiskey. Well, John wanted to make a statement. So the first blended Scotch whiskey he came out with was Asila.
Okay.
They asked him in an interview one time if he could only have one thing on a desert island, what would that be? And he said Asila.
Really?
Right.
Oh.
That's a bold statement.
Right.
Well, especially when you look at when you taste this later with the 50% single malt.
Right.
It's really a full flavored whiskey.
Awesome.
Then from there he created the Great King Street Artist Blend.
Okay.
Which is again a blend of 50% malt, 50% grain whiskeys.
Awesome.
And not to be outdone, he came out with the Glasgow edition, which is like 55 to 65% single malt.
I haven't had that one. I'm so excited.
There was a whiskey expo in New York, and he came out with a limited run, the Great King Street New York blend, that actually had up to 75% single malt in it.
Really?
Yeah. So when we talk about the flavor of single malt whiskeys, a little bit different than American whiskeys.
Okay.
American whiskeys, Irish whiskeys, you can add ice to them.
Right.
A lot of the distillers I've worked with, single malt is all about the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to taste through these neat.
Okay.
And then they always told me that add a little dram of water to it.
Yeah.
By adding some water, it cuts down the proof. It opens up the whiskey, releases some of the essential oils.
Right.
And if we have enough whiskey in the glass, I call it releasing the snakes, because when you add water to it, it kind of spirals up and it looks like snakes in your glass.
True.
Thank you, Randy Adams, for that.
Because whiskey is lighter than water.
That's right.
So if you actually put it in there super gently, it would actually just level right on the top and separate.
Right.
Which is cool.
So I think what we should do is to start off with his first one, the Asila.
Grant's here. Do you want to get in? Oh, good.
Oh,
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, if you just want to hang out next to Nick, you're good to go. How are you, dude? Folks, welcome. Grant Anderson is here with us. You all have seen any of my other shows. He's on all the time. How are you, dude? Awesome. Here, have one of these. Penicillin for you. I know. Tough life, huh?
you might want to grab a glass of Glencairn, one of the glasses
yeah.
from the bar, so when we start tasting.
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect timing.
I was going to say, you came in dead on. While we're waiting for him to get settled, I wanted to talk a little bit about, I took a couple of notes too, because I didn't want to be like totally unwise today. When it comes to Scotch, Scotland had two types of stills. There was the continuous still, which produced grain whiskeys, and then the pot stills, which is how they made their malts. And what happened was it was either or. So we're talking like 1860s, right? So people were made, you either had grain whiskeys or you had malt whiskeys, and there was no blend of the two. So you either, they said, I heard somebody say something like one man's malt, another man's poison, or something like that. Because literally, some people just couldn't handle one or the other. A grain whiskey was always considered sweet and light, whereas a malt whiskey is usually peaty and fiery. And if you don't understand what the term peaty means, it literally comes from from peat moss. So they're literally burning that peat and smoking it into the distillation process, which gives it like a very. You hear a lot of people talk about the old grandpa smell, like. It always reminds them of somebody's grandfather. It's my favorite thing ever. Peated anything, I may just try to steal your diffuser later and just spritz my bed every night before I get into it. But usually people preferred one over the other. Then they came out, these people became these self-proclaimed whiskey barons. And those guys were the guys that were figuring out that if they took a little bit of each of these grain or malts, they could make something that was more palatable for people to drink. And that's sort of how this whole thing started. Should we go ahead and start a pour here?
We can. When we talk about making single malt whiskey, 3 ingredients are in it: barley, water, and yeast.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And what they do is they harvest the barley, but what they need to do is they need to germinate the barley, so they put it in a tub with warm water, and it starts to germinate kind of like a bean sprout.
Oh, okay.
When that's ready, they start to drain off the water, and as they're draining off the water, they're turning all of that barley so that they can get all the water out. Then they lay it on what's called a malt floor.
Okay.
And that's where the heat comes up underneath it.
Oh.
So with the peatiness over there, peat to them is like coal. They get it from the bogs.
Right.
That's what gives that smokiness, what I refer to as that Band-Aid or medicinal kind of a flavor. Some of the distilleries are using anthracite. Some of them just use regular heat.
Okay.
And the guys that work that floor, all they do is they shovel that barley around.
Right.
And they get an affliction in their shoulder that they refer to as monkey shoulder. Here we call it rotor cuff problem.
I was going to say, I think I have that already.
I think monkey shoulder is great. And there's a whiskey that came out that is a tribute to
I was
those
just about
guys.
to say,
is that what
Monkey
that is?
shoulder. Yeah, it's a blended malt whiskey.
And that's really where that came from.
yeah.
That's great.
That is awesome.
So-
I didn't know that. And now I know.
Yeah, and when you talk about the stills, predominantly for single malt whiskeys, they use copper pot stills because that gives you the flavor.
Right.
After they get all of that spirit out, they put it into the distillation tank. They heat it up to 173 degrees. That's when alcohol vapors. So it's going up. You've got all this flavor, the congeners in it, starts going through the top of that copper pot still.
Okay.
And you see the coils, they're cooling those, and when you get it out there, it's almost like Scottish moonshine.
Oh.
They use predominantly ex-bourbon casks that have been used once.
Okay.
Sherry casks, and I'll get into a little bit about secondary maturation and things like that.
Okay.
But let's pass around the Asila. So this is the first blended Scotch whiskey that he introduced.
Awesome. Gentlemen, do either of you have any experience with any of the Compass Box stuff? Or you?
I do not.
No, none at all. Oh, perfect.
I don't
Then
think so.
this is even better.
No, I'm green as well.
Also,
I'm excited.
equally green.
Yep.
Peat Monster.
You've had some Peat Monster.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I know we've had one of those before. Yeah.
That's the last one that I taste.
Yeah, because it can definitely destroy your palate otherwise.
Yep.
That extra peaty is. I definitely. So when I come in here, the Octomore is sort of like my go-to when I'm ready to spend $25 on a giant peaty Scotch. But when I'm not ready to spend that kind of money, the Peat Monster is my go-to when I'm ready to just feel extra. Oh, cheers.
Now, since we have a completely different group that was here last time,
Right.
go through the nosing and tasting of whiskeys.
Please.
What I was taught was when you take a glass like this, you don't want to stick your nose in it because we're talking about a proof that's 80 higher.
Right.
Blow in the top of the glass. What that does, it'll take the alcohol vapors right off the top. Then when you taste it, put a couple of drops on your tongue, get used to the initial flavor and the warmth of it. Then give it a nice swig. And then what I've brought here, very important ingredient, this is a water dropper. Add as much that you would like. That'll open up the whiskey, cut the proof down.
Right.
Another really cool way to nose whiskeys, here's a trick. You take your finger, you dab it in there, rub it on your hand until it dries,
And then just take the
and then
scent.
Interesting. Nose it.
So if you did a little, because we're on YouTube, I always plug YouTube people. But if you looked up Richard Patterson, he's a master blender for a totally different group. So we won't name that name currently. But he has a very funny way of doing his tastings, and he likes to tell people to stick their nose directly into the glass, which I think is funny. He does this like very slowly, say hello, how are you, and then he says, good to see you. Thanks for asking. And you really you have to move your nose around the glass. He also says that he likes to reduce to 35% alcohol his pour. So no matter what the pour is, try to get to around 35%. It actually cuts all of that extra heavy alcohol to it and really gives it that chance to open up as much as possible. But I think everybody should just do it to whatever your taste is.
Yeah, and at times they'll do a 50-50 blend. I've done that before. We've put 50% spring water, 50% whiskey on that.
Interesting. All right, so we're on the Asilo. I'm really excited. Thanks for everybody who's tuning in right now. Feel free to say hi in the comments. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, we are definitely ready to... We've got the man here to answer those questions here for you. So, cheers, gentlemen. What's everybody think so far?
Cheers.
Delicious.
Delicious.
That's amazing.
Delicious.
It's that 50% single malt that he uses that really gives us a full flavor, full-bodied experience.
God, that's nice. Super easy. Just I would say 4 drops of water total, and it
Doesn't take much.
doesn't take much at all.
No.
Super easy. I wouldn't say that I feel like I've diluted it all, but it definitely doesn't have like a hard burn to it. It's sweet, and I'm terrible at this part, so feel free to just like read the label, guys. But again, you can tell that there's. Do you know what did we mention what the blend is on this?
Here's the problem that we have with the Scotch Whisky Association that a lot of the distillers are fighting with now.
Yeah.
John would put down where the whiskeys came from,
Sure.
whether it's the Highlands, Speyside, Isla, and stuff like that.
Okay.
And he would put the years of the whiskey that he was marrying together. Scotch Whisky Association, no. If you put an age on it, that's what you have to call it.
Oh.
He's trying to do it more of an education aspect.
Right.
And there's some things going on in another whiskey that they deemed illegal the first time he made it.
I saw a video that they actually have a YouTube channel specifically for themselves. And I saw a video where they were complaining that there was some laws going on that were limiting them to things that they wanted to do. And they said, listen, we need your help to try to come out. And so go check them out, Compass Box Whisky or Compass Box Whisky Co. Anyway, just look up Compass Box Whisky.
CompassBoxWhisky.com.
.com. Oh, perfect. Oh, you know what? You're right. Those links are all on their website too. And go find out what their fight is, and if you feel like you want to support that, they tell you exactly how to help them out.
I spent the last hour and a half myself going through their site. It has like a pretty much a schooling, like a miniature schooling on it, and
Yeah.
it's super to the point, very knowledgeable.
They're texting me now. You're going to take an exam afterwards. So.
Well,
School's in session, bro.
definitely not ready.
That's all right. By the end of this, we might be, or just hammered, and then you'd be like, I don't know, A, B, B, A.
We're cramming.
So, yeah, this is his first blended Scotch whiskey. You can see why if he was on a desert island, this is the one he has. It's very approachable, very easy to drink. And a lot of things I see coming out now are the whiskey cocktails, where they're reinventing and coming out with cocktails featuring
Agreed.
Scotch whiskeys.
Thank God. Thank God. Although, I will say, there are those of us out there, and I don't want to try to label everybody too hard, but there are those of us out there, especially I was one who, I do like blended scotches, but I also am a hard malt, like single malt drinker. Like I like them just warm and aggressive, and the kind. I didn't get all this hair on my chest just because of nature. And some of it I added because of a little Scotch drinking. But one of my favorite things about Scotch is that Scotch doesn't make me. It feels like I finally stepped out of that like high school frat party style of drinking where it's just like see how many you could poke into your stomach before you gave it all back. And then I met Scotch and was like, oh, I just want to like really like sit with this and sip it and really get into it. And I've never turned back since. So I'm now adding Asilo to my list of happy drinkers for the home bar. So if you're looking to get started on a blended Scotch, this definitely meets the proof recommendation for a definitely good place to start.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A step up from a lot of the commercial ones that are out there because, again, he uses more single malt than a lot of the other distillers. And the thing I'll get into with John Glaser is the secondary maturation. When he blends his whiskeys together, you can't just throw the barrels together and bottle it. You've got to do a secondary maturation so that the flavors of each whiskey kind of start hugging each other, loving each other, and that they get along. And
that makes a lot of
sense. I'll get
sense.
into that with some of these others.
Interesting.
Okay, so that was your first blended Scotch whiskey.
We got a long way to go.
Great King Street,
Okay.
named after the Great King Street of Scotland.
Okay.
So this was the first one, the cheap shot, artist blend. Again, this is another whiskey that has 50% malt, 50% grain. Maybe we can perhaps get a glass to dump in case there's any left over.
You know what? I've already crushed my cocktail, so really at the end of this.
So,
If you're not watching us on the podcast, we just turned around to wave at people in the window. All right, so this glass becomes your pour spout.
oh, there you go.
So yeah, we are more than happy to crush a cocktail just for the good of the group.
Oh, great. Thank you very much, Mr. Boylan.
Rob Boylan, everybody. Hey, am I on TV? I love it. Let's see. Lala's watching. You might be the only person watching, babe. How are you? All right, so we're going Great King Street. And because of the order, so we're actually not switching glasses on this. Do you feel like the order that we're tasting these in is complementary to the way that we're gonna?
When we're looking at blended Scotch whiskeys,
Yeah.
since the Asila and the Great King Street Artist Blend are about the same mix, but different whiskeys that he's blended together.
Right.
I don't have a problem with it. I'm a trained professional. If we only had styrofoam glasses, I would drink it out of that
Absolutely.
as well.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm right there with you. All right. So let's see. This is the great. Oh God, it looks so good on this camera.
I appreciate the new smell method. That it really you can get a better scent without blowing your nasal cavity. Inhale all the alcohol.
One eye starts to water.
Well, I've seen people take this when I do a lot of whiskey tastings and seminars, and I tell people it's a tasting, and I'll turn around and I'll pour a whiskey, and next thing you know, I see some guy shooting it down. I go, this ain't Fireball.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Oh. I don't even like to talk about it.
And, you can drink whiskeys however you like them. I just know from the distiller standpoint, since it's all about the flavor.
Right.
Add a little water, drink it neat. If you're going to put an ice cube in it, don't pack it with rocks. Put one in, let it melt. Again, it's all about the flavor.
So another little sidebar. The term "on the rocks" actually came from in Scotland, at least in Scotland, when they wanted to cool off their whiskeys. They didn't have ice readily available, so they went out into the riverbeds and would literally pull cool rocks out of the bottom of the riverbed and drop it in there because that would help cool off what they needed. So then it was literally on the rocks. There are a lot of people out there who get really pissed off when they see people packing their scotch on the rocks with a ton of ice cubes. It's not, all you're doing is adding so much water to your whiskey that you end up, you have to fight your ice to get through it.
Well, it's not going to breathe.
Well,
Right.
And the funny thing is that
good-looking.
the Scots being very thrifty would
Right.
use stones from the lake or the river.
Right.
Now you can go to a store and buy whiskey stones that you can stick in your freezer.
I have them in
I
my
have 'em.
freezer, and I never use them. I literally never use them. Just
I
like
have someone that gave me, and I'm not a big fan of them. Hey, look who's out
red
there.
button on the back. Hey, how are you, fella?
I noticed the whiskey stones don't seem to stay cold very long.
No.
That's
yeah.
not the thing.
It's
you know,
more of a cooling than a
and-
chilling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Micah got
and
me
an
the
aesthetic.
steel ones actually do, but
Do you think they're better?
I like them, but it's super dangerous if you're not paying attention. If you get those steel things coming out your teeth,
Yeah.
you got to pay attention.
Yeah, right. That's true. That's the other thing. It's like
There's no give.
because everybody's got like chipped
Yeah.
teeth. You're like, but it was not. It was delicious.
It was worth it. It was worth it.
You look like that guy from one of the Bond movies that had all the silver teeth.
Oh yeah, what was his
Richard
name?
Kyle, I think is who it was.
Bullet
It
Tooth.
was it Bullet Tooth?
Bullet was
No.
it? No, that's what.
What is his name? All right, if you're watching and you know anything about Bond movies, you gotta let us know what his name was.
Jaws is what I think they called
Jaws.
him.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Jaws.
Was it?
Yeah, not
I
to be
can
confused.
picture him. I just can't.
Yeah.
I think Bullet Tooth was from one of the other, one of those other movies.
All right, so you know what? On the edit, I'm gonna make sure that I cut in images for all that stuff, so we don't look less stupid right now. But that's all right.
Very cool. I thought that was Richard Kyle was the actor that portrayed that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I don't know, but I think you're right. Just so you know, Tony Aubin says Father Flanagan ! BK says Father Flanagan has a face for radio.
Nailed it.
Thank you, BK.
BK, you gotta love him. All right, let's talk this guy real quick. Is everybody already did I miss it? So we're on the Great King Street right now, and you've already destroyed yours.
I'm pouring a little taste, being the trained professional that I am.
Oh, you're smart. I'm going to be fired by the end of this. I'll be the end of it. So there's
Wait,
the proof.
Can you really fire yourself?
I could, actually. I have a co-host. She's not here. Actually, if you were watching, Megan is still a part of the show. The Sarasota Film Festival is a thing right now, and so she had to excuse herself from this show, but she will be back in 2 weeks, so don't worry. There will be women on this show again, I promise. All right, so Great King Street. This is lovely. It definitely, on the nose, is a little bit brighter.
A little more floral,
yeah.
Citrus notes.
Correct. I love this. So, as far as what I like to tell people, especially at home, is if they were going to go pick up bottles, how do these range price-wise? So we assembled these by flavor, I think, right? And so we wanted to make sure that we weren't doing anything that was.
No, I wanted to do the blended Scotch whiskeys first.
Okay.
Then we'll get into the blended malts, and I've arranged them in flavor profile.
Okay.
So I thought starting off with the blended Scotch whiskeys, going from a Sila to Great King Street Artist Blend. The next one we're going to do is the Glasgow, which has even more single malt in it. That's
Right.
going to even be a lot more powerful, a lot more flavorful.
Amazing. All right, good. So, initial reaction to the Great King Street. Do you guys have any? Are you diving in already?
I'll put my toe in.
Okay, good.
And it's really good. Yeah, it's delicious.
That's an actual tasting technique, folks. So feel free to do that.
I definitely have a preference towards like the more punchy scotches.
Yeah.
Like I want it to be like sea salt and vinegar chips. Like I want it to like punish my mouth while I'm drinking it. And
I agree.
For some reason, that's just what I look for. It is just something that burns really good.
Right. So so more grainy than malt. Or
We're
am I
taking
saying that?
baby steps. We're working our way up.
Yep.
And
Right.
when we get toward the end, you're going to go,
Yep.
wow.
Yep.
Right. Just breathing fire by the end.
Especially when we get to the Peat Monster. I'm saving that for
Oh,
last.
yeah. I've always loved
Can't
Pete's
wait.
Monster.
I know. I just keep every time.
You
Like,
know,
oh,
when I take that out and show that to accounts, I'll put the bottle up. I go, Peat Monster. I don't have to say anything else about it. It speaks for itself on that.
to call it a monster is very accurate. It definitely.
But it's still not an in-your-face peaty whiskey.
No,
it's approachable.
It's easily. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely consumable. I drink quite a bit of it. That makes
Thank
me
you.
sound like a huge alcoholic, but I do. I drink a lot.
I don't know.
I have,
I'm looking around this table here, and we all have livers that are evil, and they must be punished.
It's very true. Hello, folks. How are you? All right, good. We get lots of passerbys here, so you'll hear us stop every once in a while, just look out the window at people. It's like being in the zoo, but not at the zoo. So now suddenly we are the attraction. So people come by and just tap on the glass. We should put signs out on the glass.
Like I said earlier, it's like the
don't.
Today Show.
It is like yeah, we're waiting. In fact, we're waiting. We're hoping somebody walks by and flashes us at some point. That's the Do you want to do it?
Connor, go ahead.
Get him, Connor.
You don't want to see this.
Not the first choice, but
So good. Do you want to lean in? Do you want to lean in and say hi to everybody? Connor's here, everybody. Say what's up. Connor from State Street. Hi to him. How are
I
you?
don't think I even got on camera.
No, you did. You did. I mean, I didn't look, but I
Like I
have
said, he's wearing a great T-shirt, too. Come in and show that T-shirt again, please.
a 10-second delay, so I can. Yep, you're in. You did it. Nicely done. Is that the Herradura?
Herradura tequila.
I can't wait.
Thank you. I'm impressed.
Are you?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a little Latin in me. What do you want me to do? I don't. That sounds dirty. Never mind. Don't worry about it. All right. So this was amazing. Where do you want to go from here?
You know what? Now let's step up and do the Glasgow.
I'm not going to argue with you, sir.
Start with you down there.
Yeah. Sorry. So we chose to go one glass, which means that you just have to keep up. So whatever your pour decides to be for their tasting, you just have to crush it before the next one happens.
oh man,
I know. It's not
hard living.
It's a terrible problem to have. Connor, how are you, bro?
Doing good. I heard you guys were going live, so I had to pop in and say hi.
Glad to hear it. We're happy to have
I
you.
like the
Sorry,
setup.
if I had known, we would have just. I have a ton of mics. Nobody would respond today, so I had to. We're keeping
Maybe
it.
you added me on Facebook.
Are we not buddies on Facebook?
I don't know.
I'm the shittiest Facebook. Like
You're the worst.
I'm not a friend. I apologize. We've got to be. I think that you're lying. I'm gonna look soon. Don't worry. All right. So, we are now tasting what?
This is the Great King Street Glasgow.
Glasgow. And how is
Yeah.
this different from the standard? I don't want to call it standard, but the original
Higher single malt.
higher single malt.
55 to 65.
So it's definitely got a slightly darker color.
Yep.
Is there any
I love
peaty
that.
attributes to this?
Now, when you nose this, you're going to really start
Yeah, I
picking
noticed
up a
it
lot
right away.
more of the peat that you wouldn't get in the regular blended Scotch whiskeys.
This is like the work up to the peat like the peat
Yeah,
monster.
right.
It's like
And
oh,
we're
get
working
ready.
our way up the line.
It's
here.
coming. I can say it.
And I've got something very special next to cleanse our palate.
Oh, God. We just became
I'm
best
so
friends.
glad I wandered in on the Scotch show.
Literally, and I didn't even. I just called it the blended whiskey show because I didn't know which way we were gonna go, and I'm so happy it's just sitting in Scotchland right now. Like,
Well,
and-
first of all, if John Glazer or Pete watching this from Compass Box, yeah, I know some of the older labels that I have here. I don't have all the new labels because I just use what I have, so just go with it.
So they've changed some of the labeling.
They,
is what you're
they,
saying?
they
Oh.
update the labels constantly, and I'll go into an account and they'll go, "Was that a new label?" I go, "No, it's the old one. It's the sample bottle that I had, but the whiskey is still the same."
If they get really mad at you and you have to finish some of your sample bottles, we'll just do a lot of this for a little while. I'll happily revisit the Compass Box show.
Now, is that a thing? You said they won awards in more ways than one, and the
They-
labels
they-
are
they-
actually.
the labels that he comes out with, or if, you know, as you looked at the labels, are just really cool stuff. I mean, this guy John Glazer, to me, is
I'm glad
the
that's a
icon
thing,
of
though.
this
I'm glad it's a
industry, yeah.
thing. I mean, because it's art, you know, inside and out, and it's cool that they pay homage to the labeling itself. It kind of
Agreed.
You know, I had some of the older labels when you saw the differences, and he's constantly updating them now. I took a couple of bottles from the bar here, and you can see the differences.
That's awesome.
But and I've got John Glazer coming in at the end of the month, and very excited to have him back in Sarasota.
I'm going to put this out there right now on the air. If we need to do a side show, or side show sounds shitty, a show separate from the regular every other Wednesday, and when he's interested in maybe getting on the air and talking about stuff,
That would be absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Because we want to set up like to do a bartender thing someplace, and then maybe like a little dinner. And
I'm telling you right now that I'm clearing my schedule for that opportunity. So, hey gentlemen, how are you? So yeah, we would be more than happy to accommodate something like that.
that'd
if you
be
guys would
awesome.
go.
I'll reach out for him and let him know. And
Amazing.
I was going to ask you about that,
Yeah.
like a special edition.
Yeah, I do it all the time. I do it all the time. I'm more
Awesome.
than happy. So yeah, we will. I already. I'm gonna get 50 people hit me up after this, and they'll be like, how do I get to be a part of that show? We're gonna start selling not officially selling tickets, but if you want to be on the show, I'm gonna start selling seats.
Seats taken.
There you go. Hold on.
Nick and Grant are
Just
already calling.
observers.
Just observers.
Just
Right.
observers.
Oh, right. See. Ooh.
And John, if you're watching this later on, they're all in London right now.
Tough life.
So I know they're not watching it. I had a text earlier from Pete, and he said, "Can I watch it later?" And I go, "Well, yeah." So let's
Absolutely.
get ready and do a podcast with John, and I hope I'm doing you justice, John.
Oh, John. Hopefully we love you. So don't. I'm so happy with this taste right now. Definitely has some heavier peat on it right now. I would say it's slightly more aggressive. This is definitely I wouldn't say this is the beginner's drink right now. So we touched on those. The Asylum and the original King Street are definitely easy drinking if you're trying to get your first, your foot in the door on getting into Scotch. We are now taking a slight step up. This is definitely more my style. This is the kind of thing where if you have 3 or 4 of these, you may just dry up and something is flying around here. Sorry.
Mosquito.
Yeah. But this is definitely more my style.
Now I've got a question. If I were to taste you blind on this, would you think that this was a blended Scotch whiskey, or would you think it was a single malt whiskey?
Okay. All right, hold on. I'm gonna restart here. All right. So big gulp of water, and we're gonna do this again. Do it blind, huh? Would I think it was a single malt? I think that I would be I would be more inclined I think I'd be more inclined to say yes if I was tasting this blind, for sure. But because I know it's hard to say like, oh, yes or no, but I think because the characteristics are definitely maltier that I would. But again, I think it's because I feel like I know a little bit now about scotches in general, and so I think that. You'd have me stumped. I think I would definitely, I would definitely guess on the single malt side.
All right, then we'll go back to the old Johnny Carson and Doc Severinsen.
Yeah.
Stump the band. Hey, you get a dinner for 4 at the Brown Derby.
We might be the only guys at this table who know what the hell you're talking about. Nick, how old are you?
I'll be 37 on the 8th.
Oh, shit. You're super close.
He's in that club.
You are in that club. I had no idea.
Thanks, buddy.
I had no idea. Well, see, what happens is, I don't know what it is about our generation, but we're starting to look less and less old at closer to 40.
Right.
I'm going to be 39 this year, though.
I've seen the Johnny Carson reruns, though, so.
And you should. If you're watching, you should go back.
My wife is a big fan, and I bet she's,
roping you in there.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. What can you do? You sold into that. Now you just have to accept everything that she gives.
on
you.
and on.
Yeah, she's awesome though. Just so everybody has something to relate this to, if you watched episode 2, Mica was sitting right about where Grant was. So if you're looking to figure out who this lovely gentleman has been taken by, that's the one. Sorry, ladies.
Oh. You owe me a whiskey.
Right. I got to give a shout out to Nick because he had a tattoo shop. And Nick is an artist. For many years, my sons were busting my stones about getting the family crest. Nick was offering me ink because when he had the shop, we would do these parties and promos at a bar.
Yeah.
We would help support him with Sailor Jerry. He said, man, come down to the shop. I want to give you some ink. 5 years, I finally got some ink. He did it, and my sons were there.
He did the hard part.
You took it.
He took it like a champ.
And my oldest son was there watching to see if I was crying.
Didn't shed a tear like a soldier.
The way it's supposed to be.
However, I said if I'm going to get ink, I'm going to do it the right way. Now my kids are jealous because the family crest, I've got the whole thing instead of just a part of it.
Attaboy.
So,
Attaboy. That's why Jerry makes this show.
And it was a pleasure and an honor.
Do you still have a machine? Can we talk? We'll talk about that later.
No, because that is not legal, sir.
No.
Then no is the answer.
No.
As your lawyer, I advise you, allegedly, you don't have this stuff anymore.
Allegedly, yes. I cannot recall, is what my father-in-law was
So
saying.
what you guys think of this penicillin cocktail?
Amazing. And I'm
It's
not
good, yeah.
normally, because I have the stomach of a 90-year-old woman, not that being a woman or a man is different. I
that makes
don't
two
know.
of us.
Sorry. Yeah. My stomach is fucked up. And so doing like heavy lemon-based or anything citrus-based is really rough. But I have yet to have a problem. I'm not going to lie. Any night I go out and drink, I definitely start with like a Prevacid and like a probiotic just in case. But I don't feel shitty right now. And it was delicious whether or not it's going to sit well with me because I'm like that weird... What can you do?
We're talking about going in, sir.
That's right. So far, I feel fucking fantastic. I don't know if anybody noticed, but my drink was gone way before everybody else's was. So
Yeah.
See, I'm amazed that this is a internet show and you can curse. And
Oh,
we're not
yeah.
going to get bleeped by the FCC.
Nah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
mine.
fuck the
Podcast,
FCC.
baby.
That's right. Fuck
Podcast, baby.
Yeah. No, this is my show, my channel. YouTube doesn't care. As long as when it becomes a podcast, I mark it as explicit content. iTunes doesn't care either. So there's nobody else to fight me on that point. The only thing I've ever had a problem with is music. YouTube will shut me down
Quick.
if I try to play anybody's music that isn't belong to me
BMI,
or
ASCAP, and all those
yeah,
guys.
so they eat me alive. So what happens is on my other show, on the entertainment show, I get a lot of musical guests, and I get these hip hop kids who make like these songs
With
but
samples.
don't sample or they don't tell you that they just literally rip this beat from somebody.
Yeah.
I sit down for 6 hours editing stuff. Well, it's 6 hours because I'm not paying attention the whole time, but like literally half a day, like editing this video, and I put it up and I'm like, oh, thank God it's done. And in 20 minutes, YouTube's like, we muted your video because of this track. And I'm like, you motherfucker, I asked you. Sorry,
You know-
lips got loose immediately. I apologize. Compass Box, we love you. We're not trying to misrepresent you.
What's funny about those generic beats is where you assume that they're grabbing it from like the famous person,
Right.
But a lot of the time, like it just comes from like a source that
Right.
DJs go to like mix up.
Yeah,
shit. 'Cause,
exactly.
I had a friend who did that. Like everybody thought that he started pulling this other guy's beats, and he's like, no, I got that from so and so, and it was just like some site or whatever that provides these like generic beats that he chops up.
It's the old Vanilla Ice mentality.
and-
Mine goes dun dun
Yep.
dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
His goes dun 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 dun.
And the bigger person ended up taking their beat after his, and because it became more famous, they assumed. So
All right.
He's dead on. All right, are we moving on?
Moving on.
Yeah, we got to do this. All right, good.
Now, in the famous words of Monty Python, now for something completely different.
I thought we were going silly walks on this one. That's later.
The parrot's dead. He's demised. He's no more.
I fought in your
This
general
is-
direction. Sorry.
Their limited release hedonism.
You all have no idea. I found out about this way early, and I've just been just giddy until we. Oh, I'm so ready.
Not
the one I'm
only is
excited
it
about.
named after a club in Jamaica, but it's also a whiskey that John came up with that's 100% grain whiskeys. Now, the thing about John is that the whiskeys that he produced, they're not chill filtered.
Okay.
They're not colored.
Okay.
So the wood and the color that you see from these whiskeys just comes from the barrels.
Interesting.
And by not chill filtering it, some people chill filter whiskeys so that when you're transporting throughout the globe and you add ice or water to them, they don't cloud up. Non-chill filtering is not a bad thing because don't forget, back in the 1800s, they didn't really have ice.
Right, that wasn't a thing.
And it leaves, I think, what they call the congeners and more flavor in the whiskey that you're looking for. I don't know of any other 100% grain whiskeys that are in the United States. And if somebody knows, you can share it on Facebook. If not, I got it, baby.
Now, the little research I did, these are all American oak barrels.
Correct.
They use predominantly, again, bourbon casks, because when you make bourbon, you can only use the barrel once.
Okay.
So they send them off to Scotland, the Caribbean for rums, Mexico for tequilas, and then from there they age them. Sometimes they do what they call first fill, second fill, and then from there with the single malt whiskey, sometimes you have a sherry cask influence, and then the finishing off, where they'll use port wood, Madeira, all sorts of different casks. Like Balvenie does a Caribbean cask, a 14-year-old.
Do you represent those guys?
I do. You want to do those next time?
Yep.
I had the opportunity to meet Dave Stewart, the master distiller, up in New York when I was there, when he kicked off the Caribbean cask 14-year-old and his peated cask.
Right.
To meet an icon like that, who has been doing these whiskeys for 50 years, was unbelievable.
Amazing.
So
what a cool thing. Gerry and I are becoming quick best friends. He doesn't know it yet, but I.
That's okay. If you ever come by my house and want to do a whiskey tasting on the side, I have an office that's just filled.
Show's over, folks. We're going to Jerry's house.
After party.
Yeah.
We do. Holy cow. Done.
I had a nephew came in from Nebraska one time who happened to like whiskeys. So he was going to spend the night, or he thought he was going back to his hotel in St.
Silly
Pete.
boy.
Yeah.
And at
called
one
Top
point,
Bunk.
I had loaded up my kitchen counter with all these whiskeys, and I made him taste through all of them. He spent the night, was supposed to be at a show the next day. He called his partner and goes, I'm going to be late.
Okay. All right. So I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say it on air. I may have poured a slight larger pour. It's not as big as that one. That one still wins.
I'm just looking.
Yeah.
You know what? This is such a completely different Scotch whiskey. When I taste people on this, I've got there's a fellow by the name of Cork who has a cigar bar up in Bradenton.
Yeah.
He loves this whiskey.
This is okay. So just on the nose, I haven't tasted it yet, but it was immediately. There was nothing off-putting about it at all. It's not hot.
No, that's an easy.
Yeah, it smells.
Yeah.
It. I don't know how to describe round, but that's what I'm getting. It's like this round, easy.
It's inviting.
You're not getting any of that peatiness.
Caramely
You get a little
almost.
bit of that sweetness
Sweet,
from
yeah.
it. And if I'm correct, and John, if I'm
vanilla.
wrong, I think that
John
there's
will let us
whiskeys
know.
that are blended in this that are up to 20 years old, and by not adding any color, by law, you can add spirit caramel to scotches, rums,
I didn't know that.
tequilas, and what it does is it gives you color. It doesn't change the taste,
Right.
but it gives you consistent color. So when I tell people that there's whiskeys in this that I think have been blended like that are 20 years old,
Yeah.
you'd look at me and go, liar, liar, pants on fire.
Well, I was surprised to find out that there's, one, you always hear the vanilla,
Yeah.
but then they were saying something about the fact that there's like a coconut that comes through as well with the white oak.
They tend to toast those barrels once in a while, and so that kind of gives you that.
It almost caramelizes, brings out some
Yeah.
of those, flavors that wouldn't be there normally. And,
Right.
And the fact that they don't add anything to it, I mean, it's
Amazing
it's
color.
crazy. It's
for
like
that, yeah.
there's nothing.
Let's make sure.
Not faking the funk there.
Sorry, I've been breathing heavily into this glass, so if you're looking at it right now, there's like it's a little bit steamy right now, but okay. So did you taste already?
Yeah. If the I apologize if this has already been covered, but the color of it, what does that designate? Like when you're looking at like, if you see a dark color versus a light color, does that tell you anything specifically?
Yeah.
It does, depending upon the wood. Like after we taste this, we're going to taste a couple of his blended malt whiskeys, and you're going to see a really varied color variation because of the oak and what they're using.
And so, is it the more oak that's involved in it, it gets darker, or is it anything?
When they use American barrels, what they do is that they're toasted and charred.
Yep.
So by charring it, what you need when you age any kind of a whiskey is you need seasons. You need hot and cold. When it's hot, the wood pores of the whiskey of the barrel opens up. The whiskey seeps in with that charcoal from charring the barrel. There's a filtration. It adds color. It adds the flavor. That's where you're going to get your vanilla, a lot of your oak tones to it, and the color. So by looking at this, by not adding spirit caramel, you need a little water there?
No, I'm telling
was-
him. Like
it was a
I
suggestion.
put literally 2 drops in it just to like see how the nose changed, and it becomes even more approachable. It just becomes like this super warm, like that.
And I like with Compass, like I like with this company that they say make it yours. Like
Yeah.
as far as like, I've heard it's like make it how you want it.
Yep.
And is it safe to say like, as far as like we've been blessed to be able to be part of the Whiskey Obsession, where does this fall into? With the like, where do they store these, and like, does that have any effect? Because I didn't really.
Oh,
I know
this is
there's
good, and yeah, I can't wait. Yeah.
Here's
Great
a very
question.
interesting thing that I've learned over the years is when you look at aging whiskeys,
Yeah.
like American whiskeys, like when you look at Jack Daniels,
Right.
where they have the rick houses that are 7 stories high.
Right.
What you need are the seasons. When it's hot, the pores of the wood open up, the whiskey seeps in there. When it's cold, it closes up, the whiskey seeps out. So when you're at the top of a rick house, what happens is you get the extremes of heat. And in the top of the rick houses is where you lose more water evaporation from a barrel, which makes the whiskey in that barrel higher proof. The lower parts where it's cooler, they tend to lose more of the alcohol and more of the water. So you have to have a balance, and that's why, like with American whiskeys, that they're blending barrels together.
Right.
In Scotland, it ain't like aging rum in the Caribbean. And it's pretty cool, it's damp.
Right.
But they have like wet areas where they keep the barrels,
Yeah.
so where they're losing more of the alcohol out of it. And then when they have is dry areas where they try to keep it, up above, so it doesn't lose as much alcohol.
Okay.
But you still get that influence. But like with Scotch whiskeys, depending upon where the barrels are stored.
Right.
Like if you're on Islay, you're going to get that ocean influence. The Highlands and the Speyside whiskeys tend to be a little bit more approachable, nicer flavors. The Lowlands, completely different areas for aging.
Is it at all possible for, say, like a distillery? Because I know that from when I was in Seattle, Washington, that they're starting to, there's like some emerging distilleries there. Is it possible that they can kind of mimic that that wet, damp kind of coastal feel that the the Scottish get, or is it a latitude thing also?
No, with some of the barrel houses now, what they've got is they've got heat control. I represent Michter's Whiskeys, and Willie Pratt has put into their barrel room panels so they can mimic seasons. Not that it's going to actually add more aging, but they're trying to extract more flavor out of the whiskey.
So using it to their advantage, more or less.
Yeah,
Like they're
it's not going to
dictating-
influence like the sea salt or that, but it's the idea of the interaction with the wood. Hudson Whiskey, who I represent from New York, they work actually in their barrel room. They used to play heavy metal music because of the vibrations
growing-
from the
it's like
bass
growing
sounds.
flowers.
Somebody was in there one day and they go, "Yeah, this is really nice, but I'm an audio guy," and they do tones. And what they did was they used different sized barrels.
Well, they do it in the weed game too. Don't worry.
And they put plexiglass over some of the barrels so that when they play the different tones, you can see the barrel vibrating. It's all about the interaction with the wood.
Right.
And speaking of interaction with the wood, hi, Micah.
Jesus.
Well played, sir. Well played, sir.
Oh my God.
Well played,
That's
sir.
a good introduction.
I'm sorry,
for
was
sure.
I just thinking?
I'm very proud. I'm very proud.
So funny.
I'm very proud of that.
Micah, if you want to get yourself
You
a
wanna join
glass
us?
and come sit down, I'll happily share a mic with you. Yeah, totally. All right, good. Good.
Yeah,
Awesome. We're going to bring Micah back in.
Got a little more wood than you should over here.
I'm sorry.
Fully
break up the monotony.
Sometimes I think out loud and I don't realize
And
that.
here's the bite guy. Guess who said fully torqued?
Oh, shit. Today's going to be funny, and we're only halfway through this tasting.
In the famous words of Al Pacino from Scent of a Woman, I'm just getting warmed up.
And you did it well, too. Nicely done. Also,
No
let's
disrespect.
go
None
ahead.
taken.
As
Love
a
it like
show,
butter.
let's just go ahead and thank Gerry right now. We're going to thank him again, but thank you, sir. We appreciate this.
Yes.
Very rarely do you get this opportunity to sit down with somebody and get to taste all of these things. We hope that we're representing Compass Box properly, and we will find out soon, I hope, and we'll be able to talk to him directly and say, hey, listen, and hopefully, we'll send it to him. I'll send you literally every edit of this we have and let him know. And I will say that when I tagged them, just jump in, come in. When I tagged him on my Instagram posts today, or when I tagged Compass Box anyway, I don't know who handles that stuff. They definitely gave me the old like on my post, so that was pretty awesome. Folks, everybody say what's up to Mike.
Hey.
Hey, Micah.
Where you been all day?
Hey.
We were waiting for you.
You know, I had to go do the film festival thing, and they didn't have any good whiskey, so I had to come here right after.
Yeah, good. All right, good. So good. We are adding Micah to our panel right now, which is thank God because it was just a bunch of ugly dudes.
Listen, I got to give a shout out to Micah right now because last week when we came here, I delivered a $5,000 bottle of Michter's Whiskey Celebration to Cask and Ale. She filmed it, and as of today, 12,000 views.
Are you serious?
Oh.
I checked it today. You guys are like, that's
Blew
on point.
it. You blew it out. You blew it out.
It definitely went above and beyond what we thought it was going to be, and that was the number one thing. I mean, walking around Whiskey Obsession with you and Rob and everybody that came up was like, I thought we were watching like Fox News or something.
That's what I had.
About to
We
go
were, like,
down.
freaking out. I was like, that's so crazy.
Oh, I had people see it. They go, breaking news. I go, it was
She
CNN,
made me nervous.
Fox, MSNBC.
I was like, did you get in trouble for doing that?
I don't know.
I was like, I thought they illegally parked out front, but not that bad.
Oh, no.
Every image I Googled
I
was
illegally
no
parked
copyright.
out front.
So.
What was great was when we
on
pulled
the
the
sidewalk?
SUV
I
up.
backed into a handicap.
If you look in the video, a police car had stopped with the lights on because they thought the president was coming out
And
with
Rob-
Rob and everybody stopping
You should have
traffic.
seen
Whoa,
how many
just
wide
hold on
eyes.
a minute.
It was a lot of wide eyes that day.
Tell you
Oh
what,
my
here's what
God.
we're gonna do. You guys keep talking. Let's move into the next tasting.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna double up. We're gonna get 2 more mics on this shit. You guys want to just kind of you're in? Good. Fuck it.
No, I don't need to stay. I'll go.
He's the boss.
I
You
can
back
just sit
down.
between
Can you
you
do me
and
a favor?
Gerry.
Yeah, bud.
and-
Perfect. Then we'll
The
put a
blue
mic on.
labeled
Okay,
bottle?
okay, good.
Yep.
So you guys just hang. I'm gonna just set up 2 mics real quick. I'll be right back. I even have extra heads here.
Oh, look at this.
All right,
Oh,
good.
wait a
Do I
minute.
get to go
Hold
with
on.
Gerry?
This is like when
Yeah, you guys be entertaining though, because I'm not on the shit. So
I am in charge right now.
Oh,
So
is in the house.
Hold up, wait a minute. Let Nick put some pimping in it.
No.
Pimpin'? No.
Hold up, wait a minute.
Did you just twerk
This is
there?
like when Reagan
you
got
flipped
shot.
and
Alexander Haig said, "I'm in charge."
That's right.
So,
So what is this beautiful?
all right. So what we're gonna taste now, we're gonna get into what John is very famous for, is the blending of his whiskeys and the secondary maturation.
Okay.
Again, when you blend whiskeys, you just can't throw them together. You have to do a secondary maturation. Again, it's all about the flavor. So what John has done, this was Oak Cross. This is one of his original blended malted whiskeys. Different areas, different ages. But what he's done with this one, he's taken bourbon casks, American oak bourbon casks, and what he did was on the tops, what they call the hogsheads, the tops and the bottom of the casks, he used French oak.
No, that was a loophole. Is that a loophole?
No, that's on the next one we're gonna do. That's where the
I'm so
story gets
excited.
really good.
I love the fact that this guy is so gangster,
So,
and he's making amazing stuff.
and when you look at American oak barrels are very, very thick, the wood staves, and I should have brought some samples with me. French oak is very, very thin and very porous. So, hence the Oak Cross. So it's a blend of French and American oak in the secondary maturation that he's done. We'll pass that down there.
So I have to
You
make
look
a
great
confession. I've
tonight.
also had Oak Cross before. I didn't look at the bottles.
Last time I saw a hat like that was in a Woody Allen movie, Annie Hall.
Yes, it is.
I mean,
it's my Annie Hall hat. I'm not quite as witty.
So Nick, just to let you know, we're passing the bottle around. We won't, sidebar you. We'll make sure you get whiskey.
Is this me? This is me right here, right?
Yes, mine's empty.
Oh. Do you want to go through the whole thing or just start where we picked up?
You gotta catch up for sure.
I do private lessons
For a
after
picture.
this.
Oh, I bet
Jerry,
you do,
hush.
Jerry. Jerry
She'll be fine picking up from here.
So this is the Oak Cross.
Awesome.
And if
Now,
you would
Nick
be...
was telling me a little bit about what you guys were talking about tonight, and this is,
I don't know if that's live yet.
I don't know. Am I
Here.
just talking into a furball?
Yeah. I can hear
We're
you
picking up
through
over
other
here.
mics.
Oh,
There you
Jerry.
go.
She can whisper through
Oh,
concrete,
Jerry.
if you know what I mean.
Oh, no. It's coming from over there.
Oh, don't do the thing.
We already did it. It's Jerry's fault. It's my fault.
No.
Would you pour a little bit for Nick while he's preoccupied?
Of course. And your lovely co-host said to say hi. She's still
There
at
you
the
are.
festival.
Oh, yeah?
but
Well, she's missing a funny ass show because we're
She-
doing all kinds of weird shit today.
I can't wait to re-listen.
Oh, we
to
need some for this Gentile.
Oh, hey,
fellas and
Connor.
their shenanigans.
You got the wireless live in this moment.
I feel like with this happening,
It's always amusing when I
You can
bring
walk around and
whiskey.
just-
Sheeny glass?
I have people that show up out of
wow.
nowhere going,
know,
"Oh,
literally.
Father Flanagan has whiskeys. Let's show
I
up."
just got an extra glass just in case.
So are you second bottle in or sixth bottle in?
We're like somewhere
1,
around
2, 3, 4.
Oh.
This is the fifth.
Okay.
Yeah, you came in at a good time, actually.
You guys do all have rosy cheeks now.
Yeah.
I'm looking
It's
at
the
you.
lighting.
Only one
It's
of
the
us
lighting.
was at keeping count.
It's got that little chagrin on.
All right, Connor.
I'm working my bass down with this light.
Can you guys hear
Oh.
Connor?
Hot
Oh, bachelorette party.
Uh-oh.
You wanted a mix, dude.
Get on TV.
Wave.
Ooh.
Give your mic.
I had to muffle my thoughts for that.
They're pretty rowdy for a Wednesday bachelorette party.
I'll hook the mic.
They're gonna circle back in a half hour.
When have you ever heard of an unready bachelorette party?
All right, so you won't be able to hear yourself. Sorry, guys, but at least everybody's in now. Connor, can we hear you?
I don't know, can you?
No, not really. Hold on. I'm going to try. Wait. No, just keep doing it. Yeah? Hey, you're there.
Maybe, maybe not.
God,
What do
you're
we
Oh,
think?
there we
Yeah,
go.
perfect.
Yep,
Yeah,
yeah,
You're
yeah.
Connor?
Yeah, you're
You're
good.
coming in
It's
as
a rare occurrence that people can't hear me. They're like, Connor, speak up. That's something that never gets said.
Definitely,
This
bro.
is me. This is a fresh pour. Okay, good.
Yes.
Awesome.
What
All
are we
right.
on, fellas? Tell me a
All
little.
right, so this is Oak Cross.
Okay.
This was one of John Glazer's blended malt whiskeys, but what he's done in the secondary maturation, he's used American oak casks that held bourbon, and the tops and the bottoms that they call hogsheads are French oak
Oh,
that have been lightly charred. You can look at the color on that one.
amazing.
So the influence that you get from the French and the American oak is going to be rather unusual because American oak is very thick, French oak is very thin but very porous.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right, so
Smooth.
And he gets a lot of these whiskeys from the Highlands and Speyside. You know, with the Scotch Whisky Association, he's not allowed to share a lot of information. Now, if you're with him and you can ask him questions, he would
tastes
tell you,
like earth.
it's this whiskey that's so many years old, this whiskey that's this so many years old.
That's awesome.
So
I gotta tell you, I've
Just
learned
taste of
so much
excellence.
the last couple weeks from you guys and everyone else at Whiskey Obsession. It's been insane. I even learned to breathe with my mouth open.
Oh,
It's been helping in many ways.
No, don't worry. You
it's
do
been
that every-
helping in
you do that-
her
you do that every
It's
night.
one of the
exercises
best
and
things I
everything.
learned at Whiskey Obsession. Thanks.
You do it
Ken.
every night, and it sounds like
on
you.
that note, check, please.
I have to plug your nose so you don't. But thank you.
But now, so here is, you know, where we've tasted blended Scotch whiskeys, you know, grain and single malt, the hedonism, 100% grain whiskey. Now we're getting into the blended malts, 100% single malt.
do you know how aged this one is?
I'd have to look up at spec sheets. He's not allowed to share that because of
Oh.
the Scotch Whisky Association.
Right.
You know, we can say where the whiskeys could be from, but it's
Minimum
become a-
minimum of 3 months, right? Is that what it is with the blend?
when they finish them off, or when he does his secondary maturation, probably 3 to 6 months.
But is there a minimum for like not legal but like, you know, purpose?
No. When we talk about legalities, we'll get into the next one.
Like,
But the idea
got
behind
flashing lights outside. As they're saying that legalities.
Oh yeah. Oops. Spoke too soon.
you know what? Hold on, I gotta go. I think they're coming in here looking for me.
Oh,
I think
So-
Rob will take
I
it.
love this. All right, good.
My
You ready?
initial-
Father
I'm
Flanagan
not
is a
looking away
wanted
from the
man.
camera. No, I'm back in.
My initial thoughts were like for some reason this reminded me of like a Macallan, like 12 maybe something like it. It's just like it had like this like similar like flavor to it.
When
So
John
is-
sources his whiskeys, since he worked for Johnny Walker, he knows all of the distilleries that are available in Scotland. He turns down about 95% of the casks that he's offered for his whiskeys.
Okay.
If he can't find something that he likes, he may not produce that whiskey.
Oh.
So he's very, very particular. And I know he works in the Highlands a lot, Speyside, Islas. The Scotch Whisky Association is, you know, just being a real pain when it comes, because he wants to give people the information, where it's from, what the age of the whiskey is that he's married. And this is what people are fighting for now.
I will say that in defense of the whole Scotch system, I do get it, right? Like you want to keep things kind of pure. You want there to be rules. Like we would do the same. We do the same thing here with bourbon, right? We have like there's very specific things that you have to do in order to be considered a bourbon, right? And I guess I get it, right? I get it.
He does that, but he's not putting an age statement together on the whiskey. That's
Right.
what he's not doing, because it's all about the flavor.
Right.
But he wants to let the consumers know, I sourced the whiskey from this distillery,
Right.
and this barrel was 15 years old. I sourced the whiskey from here, this was 10 years old. And they're not allowing him to put that on the label. He's not doing an age statement. He just wants the consumer to know the blending that he's doing.
Sure.
It sounds like that he's almost more or less opening it up to more like palates.
Right.
Like, he's not really like
Right.
he's not trying to do anything like outside the box in an extremist way. He's
No,
just
correct.
really trying to like make whiskey for everybody. Like if you need
Agreed.
to dabble into more of a sherry flavor and we're gonna use this, you know, cask.
Right.
Oh, we're not hurting anybody. You know, it's not really exceeding too many boundaries.
Right.
You know, and I like if I'm not mistaken, he's a whiskey for the people type
Listen,
person.
if,
And it sounds
if it was cannabis, it would be like introducing mids to people just so that they could get into the higher end.
no,
Yeah.
no, you
Yeah,
move along,
absolutely.
sir. You're too old.
Oh,
We've gone way far past that.
Mids?
I'm just
The,
saying.
as a,
That's what they would say nowadays.
You hurt his feelings.
Like no seed, sir.
I know.
Move along.
I just want the shit that pops in your face and just makes you feel okay for 12
I need a
minutes.
torch.
so
Looking for the Vision Quest or anything like that.
Right, no, I don't need to. Right.
as essentially like a whiskey virgin, I would consider myself compared to the company I keep. You know,
I
because
don't know. You're in.
no, I mean I definitely I love it, but I just like I don't know that much about it.
Right,
So
yeah.
like the it's
No, it's just flavors, man.
I'm
If you enjoy the
with you,
flavors,
though. I mean, I only started
they
relearning.
want you to like the flavors. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
anything else. It's like you might not be into podcasts or you might not be into anything, but if you can sit there and like come out of left field and like take a sip and be like, wow, I enjoy that. I think like
Yep.
for me as a tattoo artist or as somebody who
Yeah.
has done other things in
Me
the
as
industry.
a porn star?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know what? I'm
You
not.
gotta get
I'm not
started
into.
somewhere.
I'm not into midget POV, but whatever, dude. Like, is that your thing?
Jerry's got some stories for you.
Don't knock it.
It's all about how you look at it.
You gotta try things. You gotta leave yourself open.
I think
Allegedly, as his lawyer.
Oh, you gotta try that midget VR. That's where it's at these days.
Oh my god.
But I think it's
hold on.
flavors. It's all about
Tony,
what
if
you
you're
want.
still watching, we know how you feel about midgets. You rub them for luck.
Oh
And then
yeah.
you throw them and see if they stick.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be a PR nightmare.
Yep.
Sorry.
Show just got shut
And they may or
down.
may not have pots of gold.
Even YouTube cringed a little bit. They're just like,
I didn't do it to a beat, bro.
that's right. We can still play it no matter what. Holy shit. By the way, if you're in the background, if you can hear, we got some music playing in the background. It's 9 o'clock, which means that these guys are doing, what's this dude's name? Dave? He's a badass, though, so it's fucking rad.
Ripping it.
Just know that it's coming, and you're going to hear some music in the background.
Mine
Be
went
a little nice
thin.
guitar.
Is that Tony Aubin?
Yeah.
Tony!
Oh, is he on
There?
there?
I don't know if he's
T
still
Money,
there.
I owe you a finished tattoo. I'm sorry. You left too soon.
That's a dope ass outline though.
Next bottle.
On the other side of the blade
No,
joint.
this one.
No,
here.
we're going Spice Tree.
No, Spice Tree now. Okay,
Yeah.
now this is the
means we got-
controversial one.
We all gotta catch up.
Yeah,
This is-
all right.
So,
Bottoms up, folks.
This is the one I've been waiting
Spice,
for.
am I going
Salud.
bottoms up?
so
Yeah, you gotta clear your glass.
Good night.
There's a pour out if you're ready to give it up, but I don't think anybody should.
So Spice Tree, the first time that John introduced this, the Scotch Whisky Association deemed it illegal because what he had done was he had taken the whiskeys that he had blended together,
Right.
put them in a barrel, and what he did was he put French staves inside the barrel.
And what are those?
Brilliant.
Well,
Loose
French oak,
French
limousine French oak.
So he took
And
the regular barrel and just added wood
He
to
did.
it.
He put wooded, French oak staves in the barrel. The Scotch Whisky Association deemed it illegal. Oh yeah,
Because it's French.
So-
Now it's completely out
yeah,
of the wood.
because
Right.
then
Because
that's...
it's-
well, because
Okay,
it
I
wasn't.
was- I
It
can
was
see
the
that.
barrel
It
itself.
was
They
an
don't
added-
shave their armpits. No
So-
fucking
Is
way.
it safe to say
Is
that was
that-
it was
Oh,
an added
natural.
maturation process?
Well, it was to pick up the influence from the French oak.
So
Right.
it's
But
technically
at
now a single and a
Now,
half.
now you're adding something else completely
It
different.
has
Yeah, what do you
nothing to
call
do.
that?
It's a blended malt whiskey, but by
Compass
putting
Box.
the French stave,
You call it Compass Box.
yeah, but by putting the French staves in it, and
Right.
it wasn't a part of the barrel.
Right.
They were like,
So they're loose staves inside the
Okay.
barrel.
correct. He used French oak. So
Why not?
Well,
I could see that, though.
He's mad scientist. Like it's amazing.
but the Scotch Whisky Association
Right,
was
because
up in
there's
arms.
rules.
Well, then you can't
Because
call
it-
it
So-
Scotch.
Right, but it's like okay.
Sounds like the same people
so,
that
right,
told
this-
me about
It's like
tattoo
if
stuff.
you...
Well, this is their problem. So this is the whole issue right now. So it's like if we here here in the States we have bourbon, right? And bourbon is our thing, and there's like 6 major rules that you have to abide by in order to be considered a bourbon. You have to be here, right? So all
No,
of
no,
that,
no. 6 major rules of bourbon. Well, not 6. There's less than that. Number 1, your mash bill must be made from at least 51%
51% corn,
It could
right.
be up to 100%. Number 2, you must be aged in a new oak American barrel.
Right.
3, you can't age it for less than 2 years.
Right.
And 4, you can't go less than 80 proof.
Right. So 4. There's
So-
Four's
there
all
is
rules.
like 2
Clean and
more
simple.
technicals, but it doesn't matter. So
Oh, please share. What are the other 2?
I don't know. I'm not on that page
How
anymore.
dare you, sir? How
I'm
dare
not
you
on that page
challenge
anymore.
Father Jerry's
And a lot of people are
biblical?
Because-
confused. They think it can only come from Kentucky. But if
Kentucky
you
or
follow
Bourbon
those
County,
4 simple
yeah.
rules, you follow those 4 simple rules, you can make bourbon anywhere in the United States.
We have St. Augustine that just released their new bourbon.
the first Florida bourbon ever made.
Ever
Oh.
made in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
I
And
was
they have
in-
a unique aging process because it's all Florida age, so they're getting a much different climate than you would elsewhere. You're not getting the change in climate.
That's
Here
right.
in Florida, it's really
And
unique.
he uses
St.
more
Augustine
wheat.
weekend.
Isn't that ironic that like aged in Florida are like that's a problem?
Yeah.
Guys,
Like,
The
that should just be
retirement
like a
blend.
given, dude.
We got plenty
Just
of
across
aged
the border.
in
It's aged, bro.
It's already aged.
If you're here, you're aged, dude.
I
They
already
took it
have
with them
joint
from-
problems. I'm like, God, what the fuck?
I can't get the whiskey to my mouth, dude. Across the border.
so, by the way, if you guys ever want to do a field trip over to St. Augustine,
Yeah.
let me know.
Done,
I'll hook you
done.
guys
Field
up.
trip.
in
We'll get you a
I
little
love
trip.
St.
Let's go tonight.
That's a lot of ground to
Let's-
cover, Uncle Jerry. We get you a little rascal.
So,
I don't know if you know anything about my life, but I do literally nothing.
I think we could pull his rascal behind the truck. Like, we can make that work. We'll just put Jerry's guy's sunglasses and a bottle of whiskey and just tow him behind the
Jerry.
truck.
We'll just have them spurt holy water on everybody.
Big
There you go.
Shug.
He's breaking out the shades.
Say what's up on the fucking Facebook feed. In fact, Big Shug, you should call in. Just call us, 813-343-4798.
There he is.
I love this
Shotgun.
porn music in the background.
Flanagan is in the house.
I was like, dude,
All right,
touch
all
me,
right.
bro.
So let's do Spice Tree.
all right. So, after his first edition, John, to be politically correct for the Scotch
Shut up,
Whisky
man.
Association, said, okay.
All right.
So then what he did was, like he did with All Cross, he bought French oak, did the hogsheads, the tops and the bottoms of the barrel with French oak, but heavily charred the French oaks for the secondary maturation. If you look at the two different colors,
So dark.
That's
so
obvious.
again, this comes from the charring of the barrels from the French oak,
Okay.
And nothing added.
and nothing added.
That's amazing.
All right, good.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if anyone can hear the music that we're all jamming to, but we're all just slowly like dancing in our
Right.
seats.
I'm
And
like
they
Maze
probably
face
can't
over
hear
here.
us, and we all just look like we're like tripping on something.
I don't know. I thought
Every
Ron
once in a while, I
Jeremy
keep
is
doing the
like
bass.
in the room or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So Jerry, I think what I really like about this brand is that they're not doing anything as of, like they're just
No.
sending it out as is.
And again, it's all about the secondary maturation. So the flavors of the whiskeys that he's brought together.
I like that he's gone against the grain and
Yeah.
always the one. And
Agreed.
he's putting out a product that's phenomenal and it's not messed with. It's almost like taking it back to the roots.
Yeah, I
And it seems like he's kind of meeting a little bit of
so far there's nothing in this lineup that I would ever turn.
It just gets better and better.
Right? Yeah, just right. I agree.
think
all
there was a point
amazing.
where I was like, when you say the desert island, only one thing. I think I'm at that blue label.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So you just have like a higher preference, but I think he's absolutely right. If it was like, just take the easiest drinker, like you're on a desert island, like that shit sucks anyway. You might as well have something that's a little bit
I need
lighter.
someone to tell me it's okay.
If
You don't have to put me on a desert
not-
island for me to drink this.
I'm not taking the peatiest scotch to the desert island and be like, bitch, I'll dry out in 3 days and
Well, 'cause
die.
you're gonna
Yeah.
be smoking shit anyway.
All right, hold on. I just got a
Like coconuts or
Uh-oh.
something.
breaking news alert.
Uh-oh.
Are you getting
From-
live updates from people?
I am from mysuncoast.com. Strong to severe thunderstorm possible Thursday morning. Then the chill is in for the Sun Coast.
Ooh, low
Bam.
of 72.
I gotta. I'm breaking the sweater out.
Short sleeves.
72.
I get to put a shirt on.
I'm just gonna get the
Keep
peat
your
monster
thermostat at
out
like
and
82,
not
don't you?
ever care.
Oh, we're coming down. We're heading into the final
I'm
stretch.
gonna spray a little of this on my
So-
neck.
Get something to warm us up with.
Guys, I really want you to enjoy this because this is an extremely delicious whiskey that John has created.
Okay. So let's get down. Oh, this shit does not
They're
like
so,
it just hates
like-
me right now.
Just
Yeah.
easy.
All right, so the nose is super
It's
easy.
just nature.
There's nothing hateful in that at all.
It's just nature and
Yeah.
excellence.
There's no it's not hot on the nose. It's very
I just want to be in it.
yeah.
It's like that blue oyster that
It's
on Pineapple Express. I just want to be in it.
That's what he called
just
it.
want to be in you.
It's like God's vagina.
Oh, don't even start about that because I heard there's a beer now coming out.
Called God's
no.
vagina?
Yeah.
Shut the
Who's
front
making
door.
Well, it's not out yet. You didn't capitalize because this
right?
is God's
Too late,
vagina.
bitch. You've been a home.
Trade-
It's
Trademark that
warm and
now.
cuddly, and I don't give a shit.
All right. Big Shug Scalzi says, haha, what up, gang?
What up, Big Shug?
What up, Biggie?
As soon as I saw him, I called him out.
We'll talk about Big
I
Shug.
love me some Shuggy cocktails.
Oh, so good. All right, so this is the easiest nose I've had so far.
Big shit.
It's a Big Shug.
Just super round, super sweet.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just want to be in it.
Yeah.
Is that French oak influence, the heavy charring on
That's
the
what it
French
is,
oak?
Smell that.
Gives that to you?
That's
Right.
what I got.
It just
That's
makes
what
me
I
feel
get.
like silk sheets
But then
and
again-
fucking right.
Did you know that
Like,
women
it's like a Bed
have
Bath
better
Beyond.
palates than
Netflix.
men?
I'm a Netflix
Yes.
and chill after.
Yes. So I think.
And I got a new
what
shower
I
head,
smell
dude, that
is
can just
different
make it
from
go
than what
away.
you smell.
Hey, guys.
Oh, I am.
Mike is trying to talk. Stop
I'm not.
talking over.
Sorry,
I'm
we're-
asking you. I just forgot.
me, sir.
There's
That's every day of my
I
life.
can't hear the rest of the conversation.
I got you back, baby.
Yes. I said I was wondering because what I did learn was that women have better quote palates than men.
Here we go.
Without question, which is why you get to pick up what happens in the living room. That's always.
Over here, bro.
I got you.
Over here.
I know.
We were at
I
home
know.
today,
Let's
sir.
take it
Guess how much I had to
That's
say
why.
about it.
Listen, if you walk into my house, it's like, you can tell a dude lives here. It's like, boop, graffiti, graffiti.
That's called funk.
Oh. Come to the house. You
How
haven't been
dare
there.
you.
You have to come.
How dare you.
You have to come see the house.
I'm sure Glena's styling.
It's clean as
Oh
fuck.
my God.
It's clean as fuck. People have to come over. It's clean.
Yeah.
It's clean. Huh? Okay, good. All right.
She'll take you to home.
But-
Jake. She'll take you to home, Jake.
What I was asking
It'll be
is,
so different.
do you think with me smelling it that what I smell is different from what you guys
Everybody's
smell?
sense of smell and
'Cause you guys
taste
were
is
saying
different.
sweet
Oh,
and
yeah.
this and
So
that, and I
you-
don't think that's
She
You
means
might
in the
pick up
female
more
aspect of it.
nuances
Yeah.
than we don't. You
Right.
know, where like when I do wine tastings and spirit tastings, where he might pick up wood and vanilla, you might pick up the citrus and the floral.
Pause.
Yeah.
So there's no right or wrong.
Yeah, well, that's what
Pick up
when,
wood,
as soon
that's
as like
not a
when
thing.
he was saying it,
Hold
I was like,
on.
oh, I don't
Spray
get
it with
and then
that.
when you said
You'll be
barrel,
all right.
Oh yeah, get that in there.
what are you spraying?
Don't waste it. I'm gonna put it on my bed later.
Jerry.
No, I
Is
had
that ode to
literally-
Flanagan?
by the way,
Awesome right there.
I'm gonna leave this with you.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Spray?
Yeah, it's gonna be really hard
That's
for me
my
to
new
not
cologne.
just
Is it
chug it.
Is
but-
it alcohol? Or
It's
is
a-
it
it's
just
a
make
breath
you smell like
spray.
a drunk?
It's an atomizer of scotch.
Oh, it's like somebody's spraying on my neck.
That office meeting.
It
Don't
mixes
get pulled
really
over.
well with like a musky cologne. I call it ODD
That's what
wine.
is
It's
it? What are you
fantastic.
doing
Like cologne
with
that smells
Are
like
you
Down
musky.
behind the bar, I'm instantly irresistible.
It's this.
I hope everybody at home can hear us
That's
because
Pea
look at how red that light
Pea
is.
Monster in
So red.
in a bottle.
Just chill them out.
It's pretty much don't go get a McRib.
All right, so memo to myself:
get
the
Mick
next
Red.
time I do this, only bring a few whiskeys.
No, that is not the rule. You bring the array, we survive or we don't. That is the answer.
All right.
It's a ride or die whiskey tasting.
Ride or die whiskey tasting. We brought
Perhaps-
these two in just so they
All
could
right, keep
level
going.
us out. Yeah.
I'm curious.
So
Yeah,
perhaps
like
what
you
we can
expect us to
do
be so
We only have one
on
left.
this.
is have the band play like a string quartet, like on the Titanic, as we go down.
Yeah.
They play down.
I'll just stand there with arms wide.
I'll sketch you naked.
Never let go.
I'll sketch you sketching him.
God bless.
I gotta go.
No, you're stuck in the middle. That's why we put you in there. You can't run now.
Stand you up in the corner and hold you.
Wait a minute. I remember that song from Reservoir
Oh
Dogs.
yeah, stuck in the middle with
Oh, that with the ear.
Where's my
you. That was the first thing I thought of when you said you're stuck in the middle. I was like, we're
By
gonna
the
cut
way-
somebody's ear off tonight.
Comments that we had on the photo of us. Somebody said Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
Somebody else wrote Expendables. I guess because some of us older fellas.
Yep.
So Quentin Tarantino
Us
reached
older
out for me
fellas.
wanting to do a
Three of
remake,
us.
and I go, we got to call it Expendable Dogs.
Expendable dogs. I love it.
But you're not expendable though, man.
Hey, we could shoot the trailer.
Yes,
and then
we
just launch it
can.
and be like,
Oh my
new movie
God.
coming out,
The
Expendable
plot of the
Dogs.
movie
So we
has to
have
be a
to
whiskey heist, though.
Well, I
it
can
needs to
picture
be whiskey
Rob, like,
focused.
Here's my vision. It's a van pulling up, and we have to wait for the to the thing to come down and let you out in a little
Expendable Dogs is
rascal.
like a Sarah
then you're like,
McLachlan
hold on.
commercial.
Okay, we're gonna
It's
shoot
happening.
this.
It's happening.
Okay, get
It's
ready.
gonna be the handicap van. You'd be like,
Nicolina
hold on,
and I are
wait.
gonna team up with the Westfall and the Flanagan and Mr.
Yeah, oh.
Tim, and we're
We're
gonna
shooting
shoot
some
a
shit. God,
next
this is fucking good.
trailer for.
It's
And
the
Sarah
greatest whiskey
McLachlan.
heist of the new millennia.
She's
This-
the expendable dog
Delicious.
girl.
Kind of a thing right now.
Yeah.
So now you've had the original,
That's
the
a
oak
happy-
cross,
happy
now
Yeah.
the spice tree. Can you see the influence of what happens with the oak and the different maturation of the
Yep.
whiskeys that he used?
And
That
I would-
sweetness, is that the charring?
Yeah,
yeah,
it really
That's
is.
that
It's
heavily
that
charring
char-
on that French oak
on
to
the
give
French,
it the color.
and that's the difference.
And that's the vanillas and the coconuts and
Correct.
all that stuff that comes
heavier
out.
sweet. So
Kevin
it's still
Schubert.
so.
Hi, Kevin.
So I would be remiss if I didn't mention Sarah Marin in this because Sarah loves the oak cross. And so she'll listen to this at some point and go,
then
"Oh,
she
you better
flips it
say my
upside
name."
down.
So yeah, so this is Sarah's jam. I can't get Sarah to drink fucking peaty scotches with me. Just can't get her to do it. She won't do it. But
Come
she
on,
likes
Sarah.
the oak cross. And so this is as close to a peaty scotch. So if you're out there and you're like, "Oh, I don't like a peaty," you may want to try this because Sarah doesn't like them peaty either.
Sarah, put on your kitty cat footy
Oh,
pajamas and get it done.
I don't know if
Quit
any of
messing
you were
around.
witness to the debaucherous
There's like 50
One
extra
Sarah-
girls.
drunk pub
Sarah
crawl
has
that
a
went
full-on
on
kitty cat
Sunday.
onesie.
She
that
does.
I'm pretty sure that she can get down with.
She does.
And that's her
It's a mess.
metronome. Like, it'll protect her, and she'll be okay.
I'm gonna post that picture as part of this edit, so don't worry, you'll see it. All right, so we've got one more.
Before we move
Yes,
on
we
to the
do.
next
I
one,
believe it's the
Wait,
Heat
what?
Monster.
Grant's
is there a definitive difference between the French and the Kentucky oak barrels?
All right, now when you talk about oak barrels are just not sourced from Kentucky. They're sourced from Appalachia, Minnesota, Michigan. There's all sorts of different American oak that's available.
Sure.
So we'll broaden it then. The American oak versus the French oak.
All right, American oak is very thick, and depending
Duh.
where you get your American oak from will influence the flavor. The difference from Michigan and what's growing around those trees, or Appalachia.
Right.
And the French oak is very thin.
So the Kentucky
that.
oak that they call it the Kentucky oak. That's the middle American United. Is that where they source their oak from Minnesota down to Kentucky?
They have different
everywhere?
areas where they source the oak from, so it's not Kentucky oak.
Right.
But again, you know, with where they have contracts with the farmers for the trees and things like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I was with a winemaker, Dave
I
Reddy
don't think
from
that works. I
Murphy
can't share
Good.
headphones with you.
And I was in his wine warehouse, and he had Michigan oak, Minnesota oak, and French oak. And I go, what are the differences? He goes, hold that thought. He climbed up the ricks and pulled out wine from each of the barrels.
Well, I
And
noticed
if
they
you
only
have
I noticed they only really source white oak from one place here for this brand, or they do multiple.
I think wherever they can source the barrels
But it has to be
from,
a one. And
Christina
American oak
Daidone, our little sister-in-law.
Daidone. I fucked it up in the beginning, but I got it
I
now.
forgot that you guys can hear me. I can't hear you. Sorry, I did not mean to interrupt.
Yeah, listen, at least we have you, Mike.
He was on some scientist stuff and who has some Facebook stuff going on.
so,
Sorry,
the-
listener.
All right.
so it's not just one. This Compass Box in particular,
wherever he can source
within
his
the
barrels
U.S.
from. Right.
He does wherever he can,
Correct.
and then he does it, and it's one use only. He brings it back.
Well, no. When you use bourbon casks can only be used once.
Okay.
When they sell them to different distillers in Scotland,
But these are for his
Caribbean,
blends.
the blends, they can use first fill.
Right.
They can also use second fill, depending upon what they're looking for to extract from the flavor.
So once they get it back to where they want to do it, it's where does it start? Where they do like, okay, so we have when they start blending there, so they can take multiple different whiskeys and put it into one barrel.
All right, so what
What
John
is-
does is when he sources his whiskey, I think he gets the barrels from the distillers.
Okay.
And at that point, when he's doing the blending with French and American oak, he puts his barrels together and coordinates the two.
And that's an afterthought. That's when they do all the blends and they put it in for maturation for the last process. Cool.
This dude studied.
Oh, yeah.
He went hard. He was like, I'm reading the
That's what I'm
show.
saying. It's
I'm just stoked on this.
I'm not
it's
knocking
a
you,
sexy
bro.
This
process.
company- I
like
love
it,
this company,
it's,
man.
It
Rad.
blends
I
all
agree.
together, and that's
They're like
fucking
the
awesome.
pirates of you know.
Hey, Connor, can you hear me?
No.
No, not at all.
All right, Connor.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I can hear you.
By the way, if you want to live, come with me.
Yeah.
To the chopper, Connor.
Would you be so kind as to grab that peat monster?
Ooh, I've had this one before.
Uncle Tom.
Yeah, my
All right,
uncle
Tom, hold
from
on.
Edinburgh.
Uncle Tom with the
Edinburgh.
TH.
Here?
Did you say I've been uncle
So-
from Edinburgh?
Hold
Yeah,
on.
dude.
Uncle.
Peat monster.
Yeah.
It's real deal.
The rest of us are Italian.
He's a savage.
Uh-oh. Hello.
He's a whiskey savage and a Scotsman.
And a Scottish savage.
So he's a Scotch savage.
There we go. Now I'm part of the party.
Now that I know that he's only really
Those are
drinking
my
This is what he does on the
Comes
cell
from-
phone every time I call him.
It's in Scotland, so it's not whiskey. It's just
Mike is short right
Scotch.
now. Do I have another pair?
I'm fine, dude.
Or like
Oh,
most of
good.
my
All right,
notes.
cool.
She's in the middle of the group. She can hear us.
Just don't get mad at me if I
this is
chime
my
in because I
prescription.
forget that
It was
everybody.
burning when I was deep
No,
there.
just throw it in there. We don't
It
care. at all.
burned when I
Whiskey,
peed
give me a
monster.
All right, we got one more. Let's get through this so we can get out this mother. Ooh, holy shit! This is the funniest show right now.
Nick, you can't hear me, right?
I can hear you.
I can
Oh.
hear you.
No,
No,
I
not at
can't
all.
hear you. Why?
Will you hush?
What'd you do? We killed
Very
things.
loud. Am I on this
You
side?
got the microphone drunk and it passed out.
Oh wait, there's an on-off on your mic, so you just gotta spin it.
Yeah, take your dick beaters out the mic,
Spin,
sir.
spin, and then
Oh,
at the top
yeah,
is oh no, keep going, no.
Spit on it if you can.
He doesn't have his
Hello?
He doesn't have
There
his
it is.
monocle.
Ma?
Oh, he's
He needs his
back.
monocle, dude.
It's very.
He needs his monocle.
I can't wait to edit this later.
Oh,
This is gonna be
can we
ridiculous.
get
thought
you
it was
a
live.
Oh, he's going. He's
We
going.
all
ham.
in
Hold
there.
on.
It's okay.
To the
Hold
hip.
on.
Huh?
Now I'm going to introduce Peat Monster. Here's what I got to say about it.
So excited.
Oh,
Jesus.
Flanagan
those
with
who
the
can't
mic
see
drop.
Mic drop. Look what it looked like. That's
Damn.
good God.
That was sexy.
I'm
and
sorry.
Excellent.
I'll never get a chance to do that again.
No, you're right. You should have taken it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're not invited back, sir.
All right.
You just broke his microphone.
Oh, no. It was the on-off switch. All right. So Peat Monster.
Do you have one?
All right.
Pretty
So here?
self-explanatory. He's bringing whiskeys in from the Highlands
Okay.
and from Islay.
Okay.
So this would be an introduction to those really heavily peated Islay whiskeys that
Right.
get the influence from the ocean, the salt, the heavy peatiness, but it's not like a in-your-face dirt.
Right.
Where does
But-
that process happen, though? Like, where does that, like, getting smoked up?
That
and
comes from when
set?
the distillers that he is using to source this whiskey, if they're smoking their barley with peat to dry it, that's where you're going to get the influence.
Okay, so
Okay.
there's a process where that's introduced. There's this, that, and then
Right.
they smoke it and then move it along to the
All
next
right,
level.
when distillers are drying their
Madison.
barley, they can use peat that gives you that heavy, smoky Band-Aid influence. If they use
Iodine and
anthracite,
Band-Aids.
you're going to
Holy
get...
shit! Wait, hold on. Wait, let's answer this. We're just gonna because it doesn't happen. Mad Dog, are you there?
Yeah, that's me.
Barely hear you.
Who is
Turn
this?
it up.
Speak up.
Madison is on the phone.
Mad Dog's in the house.
All right, so
Are you guys live right now?
yeah, we're
we're
live.
Dive.
No, I'm on the toilet, sir.
Oh man, that's awesome. I'm on a motorcycle right now.
You're on a motorcycle?
That's not safe,
That's
bro.
totally
Yep, I
dangerous.
have a hands-free Bluetooth comm system I'm
That's
talking
funny.
into.
Hang
hands-free
up
must
a
be
call
safe.
back when you get to the gas station.
He's got a
I don't
hand,
like that.
he's got a fancy helmet.
I'm not a fan of that. You gotta
Yeah.
pay attention.
How fast are you going right now, Mad Dog?
Pin it.
25 miles per hour.
Dude,
How fast can you go right now?
All right.
Burn
Really?
rubber.
I'm going through downtown right now, going home.
This one.
do a wheelie and then call me.
This one you can smell coming from a mile away.
This right here smells like
It
excellence.
smells like
It
us
smells like
after 3 days
Halloween.
at
Yes, we
Halloween.
can smell you from a
No,
mile
yeah.
away.
Like
Knuckles.
booze and
Halloween.
camping.
Yo.
If,
Yo,
for those of you that have never had Peat Monster, it does. If you sweated it out drunk in a
Are you
campsite
guys
for
talking
3
about
days
Peat Monster
and
right
you
now?
in your
dude,
car,
we
this
drank
is what you
we
smell
drank
like.
every Compass Box. Almost no, not every, but
This-
almost every Compass
You know
Box.
what? I gotta say, this reeks
I'm
of
so
good
fucking
friends
jealous.
and a long day
Oh,
of like
yeah,
camping
Yeah, it
and like
does.
excellence.
Yeah.
Like
Dude,
when you go home and
Everybody,
you're like,
everybody
oh.
at the table is
Nice
slightly
analogy,
faded,
babe.
and it's hilarious.
They're gonna smell us
This-
coming 2
Everybody
blocks away
sounds
with
pretty
this stuff.
inebriated.
So this is the smell of like, hey, it's the end of the
Hold
day.
on.
Let's
As
just
the
set the
lawyer,
whole
I
thing on
advise
fire.
that allegedly.
I really wish I was
Everything
drinking
is
Peat
alleged,
Monster with
Irish.
you guys right now.
All right, wait. All right, so everybody chill real quick. Mad Dog, how are you? We missed the fuck out of you.
I'm great, man. I miss you guys. It's lonely up here in St. Pete without you.
I'm coming. Don't worry. I'll be there in like less than 5 weeks.
We'll
Hell
see.
yeah, man.
So
Hey,
It's not soon
I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I wanted to say that I love you guys. I
Love
fucking love Pete Monster and
Fuck yeah.
Compass Box so fucking much. And Saturday night we have a Harley raffle giveaway for an Ironhead Sportster downtown St. Petersburg at the Iberian Rooster on Central. And raffle tickets are $10. And you can win a motorcycle. It's going to be bike night for Ronin Vintage. It's going to be badass, and we hope that a lot of people are going to show up.
Yo.
So rig it and it's my bike, right? Is what you're saying?
That's right. Apparently, Nick wants to just have you just like pull strings and make that thing.
Well,
Like,
That was the
Galenia's
Siberian
gonna
Rooster,
edit
right?
it to go, hey, cool story, bro, but it's my bike, is what you're saying.
right, exactly. All right.
Done and done.
Deal. Free bike if you all show up Saturday night. I'll put the links in the description below. Make sure you check it out. Mad Dog, do us a favor. Be safe on that motorcycle.
We love you.
Yeah, man, I'm almost home. Love you guys.
Love you
Bubba.
too, brother. We'll talk to you
Say
soon.
hi to the wife.
Peace out.
Peace
See you
out.
soon, guys. Bye.
Oh, bye.
Tell Sarah to put her onesie on.
Awesome. Yo, we very rarely get calls on this show, so that's awesome. Gotta love Mad Dog. All right, let's really address this one more time, and then we gotta wrap this bad boy up. We've been here a long time, and everybody's a little fuzzy already. All right, Pete Monster. Everybody, give me first impressions. Go. Yeah, you just wanna
Smells like, have you ever been to Halloween?
Bigfoot's dick, right? It's just
Yeah. Have you ever been in Halloween and had like way too many acids?
too many ads.
No, I had just
Like
enough,
how,
actually.
like how do I clean my my tent? It smells of campfire.
Your taint or tat?
That's definitely a lot.
Both.
Tent, sir.
It's probably the
My
same smell.
sleeping bag. I'm in
Dousing.
tent mode, sir.
Holy crap! Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the
yeah.
technical term for dousing, Jerry.
I've had that. Now I'll take a dab too.
But yes, also that.
Everybody wants
Top us off over
Jerry,
here.
you got? Oh, okay, good.
So the product that I have a question about
That's
is
a
this
good
like
pour down there.
Jesus.
this
It's the last one of the night. You want to make sure you guys
Okay.
fill.
We enjoyed
Okay, I'm
having
sorry,
you
I
on the
love
show.
Pete Monster. So
I
the
already drank some. This guy's going for a gallon of peat moss over this monster.
It's not a pint glass. You're not supposed to fill it to the top.
there's this bottle of perfume sitting in the middle of the table.
That's not perfume.
It's not perfume.
It's definitely whiskey perfume. That's the one I have the
That's
question
coming
about.
home with me. Oh, okay.
No, but
so,
Jerry, seriously.
I would like to know about the spritzer.
Yeah.
Is that what he's asking?
so yeah, it
It's
is.
water.
No.
No, it's
This
definitely
one.
not water.
This is the Pete Monster
I do
spritz.
want to know why it's spritzing.
Hold on.
Like, is
It was
it
on your
alcohol
cocktail.
in there?
Yeah, yes.
And
It's
is it
Pete
like-
Monster. It's
What was in
literally-
this was Pete
needs
Monster
Monaco?
to spritz on top of the penicillin. I had to call for a prescription earlier.
Jerry,
I
It's
bet
an
that would knock
MDMA
out whatever
spritzer.
funk you got.
So-
Quicker than amoxicillin.
from what I've come to find out, the difference between everything else and the peat monster, what is the process to get this to that next level? Like how
All right,
much
it's
how
the
much
sourcing.
extra love does
No,
it
no,
get?
it's the sourcing of the whiskeys, where he's got whiskeys from the Highland and Isla, where they're smoking the barley with the peat to give it that flavor.
So for the layman that doesn't know, like what when they say they're smoking the peat moss, like where is that in the process?
All right, after they're getting ready to dry the barley for the single malt, they can use peat, which grows in the bogs.
Okay.
That gives you that smoky, medicinal Band-Aid kind of a smoke.
Hence the lowland aspect, because it's
well,
swampy-ish.
No, because depending upon, it's all about drying the barley.
Okay.
If you're using anthracite, you're not going to get that much kind of smoke or that peatiness.
Okay.
But to get the true flavor with peat, that's what gives you that smoky, that Band-Aid, that medicinal flavor to
So
it.
the more wetter it is, the more smoky it gets with anything else.
No, it's just the drying of the barley.
So it has nothing to do with the moisture.
No.
or the area. Okay.
If they're using peat, that's what's going to give that smokiness.
It's just the peat itself.
It's the peat
It
itself.
doesn't matter about anything else.
No.
It's just the peat.
It's
when,
dry-
When someone says peaty, as long as you're burning that peat, that's what gives it the extra.
That's what's
love.
going to give that, plus the aging if you're on the islands.
Okay.
Where you've got that salt influence
That's
from
that
the ocean.
campfire love that
Yeah.
it gets.
But that comes from the peat, from
Okay.
drying
So-
the barley with the peat.
I have a secondary question to that. So, being from Minnesota, right? Like I saw some peat farms in Minnesota. Like So, you know, at the time I was an alcoholic, but I wasn't a Scotch guy. I mean, I drink.
You were just drinking alcohol.
I was drinking all this stuff.
We prefer the term alcohol enthusiasts.
Yeah. So, is there a
Jerry,
is
we
there
need another prescription.
is there a heavily?
Did you bring a prescription back?
Yeah, duh. We all have them.
You have to.
I apparently am retarded.
You're breaking the law if you're not.
We already do that.
So, is there a heavily
Sorry, you said it was
Minnesota
So sweaty.
based?
That's why it's stuck to my forehead.
I
sir.
did not know you could get peat from Minnesota. They have bogs there in
Oh
Minnesota?
yeah, it's mostly swamps.
Okay.
Because it's the land of 10,000 lakes, and there's at least 20,000 swamps.
Oh, that's your nipple.
It's okay. So for everybody not in the know, there was a heavily clamped, little tiny
You just
little
got a nipple
clamp.
clamp.
Yeah, it's like it's the smallest little
Don't beat around the bush. You know what just happened.
smallest little clothesline clamp that was stuck on my nipple, and it was by Mr.
Daidone.
Nick over here, and
Sorry.
I did
He
that.
has
Oh,
deadly accuracy.
but it's
wait, we
a
have two. I know I have one
There's
somewhere.
another one around here.
Yeah,
somewhere.
it's easy.
Come on, we're trying to learn
but
stuff.
but
Okay.
So
no, it's all
Hold
part
on.
of the, it's all part of
feel
the
like that
science
ship is
because
sailed.
I gave up
you know.
on learning stuff. I'm
moving,
just like,
moving on.
yeah. Let's. All right.
What do you guys think of the peat monster? Is that a
it
nice
is- okay,
introduction
delicious.
to the
So-
heavily
Other than the
peated?
fact that it took forever to get to it, excellent.
Yeah.
Is that really a bad thing that
No,
took a
it's
while to
not.
get? Like, you had to
No,
work
it's
your way up to
delicious.
it.
Peat
He had
monster-
to prepare you for
You
it.
walked in late. Don't
Yeah.
you hush your mouth.
Peat
been here
Monster
since
is
the
by
get-go.
I
far
walked up when
one
you were
of
the
my
first
I
favorite
like it.
peated
Give me your
scotches.
nipples,
I
sir.
didn't think I
And
would.
to
Liar.
consider the fact that it is not it's not a malt. It's not a single malt. It's a blend.
It's a blended malt
It's a
whiskey.
Yeah.
beautiful blend.
and
so-
I've been
okay.
looking forward to seeing the build up from something that's like not
Yeah.
the norm. It's out of the box,
Right.
And it's like literally, it succeeded. It's been like honestly epic. From he didn't bring it from light to dark or dark
No.
to light. It's
Flavored.
been flavor profiles,
Yeah.
and it's met its expectations, and
Right.
it's been excellent. And
I
I
would-
like
Yeah.
I like this company as a whole because it's been outside the box thinker. It's been pushing the envelope,
Right.
and it has challenged my palate.
correct.
And I do enjoy that like ride, and it's been excellent.
And
Yeah.
today's it's not faux pas to let Jerry know. You and I had a conversation the other day. We were out on Sunday, and I was like, "Yo,
when you were in a onesie that were saved by
I
the
was,
bear?
yeah."
Was that a bear? Were you wearing
You
a
guys
bear
have a
onesie?
serious
I was.
conversation.
I was
Leave
just
that
saved
out.
by
I
the
was,
bear.
I was wearing
by
a
the
bear
bear.
onesie, and if people,
Mine
I'll
was
put it in.
camouflage,
I will
don't worry.
happily put it in the edit. Boom, right about here, bear onesie.
You bared it all.
But when Jerry, you're gonna like this. When I asked him what was up and what he was thinking about doing, he mentioned Stranahan's and how he was ready to go like try to do a thing.
Why are you trying to sell me out, dog?
I'm not selling you out. I'm trying to promote you to Jerry so that like we can just help make things official.
Well,
He's just trying to put you on
Uh-oh.
record, so you have to live up to it.
I'm kind
Is
of
Father
jumped the fence
Flanagan
right now.
gonna
Nick-
be your?
Nick-
What's
Nick-
that called? Where Zorro trains?
Nick is
Under the other
looking
guy.
towards whiskey right now.
I'm a free agent, is what he's saying.
It's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, we
I'm a
might
true-
have. He's gonna come back on a couple of shows because we're gonna start to really talk whiskey
Done.
with this guy.
I enjoy this gentleman's company.
You know,
This
it's
is
always
also
nice to
Flanagan.
have a rookie, or what I say that the force is strong within you, young Padawan, as an Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's my words.
So
Oh, I like it. You know what
you
I
better
like?
start calling Father.
You know what I like about this show?
He
It
is
makes
my
my mic
Obi-Wan.
smell really fucking good. Tomorrow or like the next show, I'll get to this mic and be like, God.
It reeks of
Remember, that's
excellence.
the first thing I said last week
Yeah.
when I sat down. I
It
got
smells
your
like-
microphone, Jerry.
That was a different podcast.
And I sat
different
down
podcast.
and I go, Jesus.
Smells like Flanagan. Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna get drunk.
Oh,
so
I
soon.
hope
Fully
it's not.
hanging
Man,
overs.
no,
I hope
no
it's not
bullshit
what you think
aside.
that old person smell.
No,
No
it was that
bullshit aside.
delicious whiskey smell.
Just so
This-
you all know.
This is something I haven't experienced, but I'm so glad I experienced
Yeah.
it with a good group of people, man.
A solid group
Like
of people.
seriously, this
Yeah.
is like I don't know why I didn't experience it, but I'm glad I did.
Because who's
With
doing
the
this?
Braddest,
Not
dude.
everybody's doing this. We gotta this
But
has to
this
happen.
whiskey is the shit.
Yeah, it is.
I'd like to
delicious.
finish off with John Glazer. We've tasted through his classic lines
Yep.
and
a
everything
savage.
that he's got, and he also does a lot of limited editions that are
Yeah.
only available once it's out there. Years ago, there's a nightclub in Chicago called Delilah's.
Okay.
And he told him that if you're open for 20 years, I will make a whiskey for you on your 20th anniversary.
Oh.
And we actually had a few bottles down here that I was able to sell to some accounts.
No kidding.
He's got the Spice Tree Extravaganza.
Oh.
He's got another one called the 3-Year-Old.
Oh.
Enlightenment. Circus.
So good.
So he does
I've had
some-
Circus.
Circus is
some
perfect for
limited
Sarasota.
editions that are just unbelievable and very limited releases. And if people don't take advantage of it when it's available sale,
Yep. Bye-bye.
I got
Set
nothing.
Sorry
yourself on
about
fire.
So, a side note, as me and Mica being not only the presidents, but also a member of the Savage Crew, we love the fact that this company is like saying, you know what? Like what you like, man. Do what you do. It's just experience whiskey, man. It's delicious.
Can you just make that the thing? Like what you like, do what you do.
Savage Crew.
Yeah.
Done.
Hold on. On that
Savage
note,
Crew, I don't know if you're paying attention right now,
another
but we're
mic
making
drop
t-shirts.
on that.
Getting that
Yeah.
tattooed on the
It's
Like
first.
what you like, do
It's
what
such,
you do.
It's such an attractive company because they don't put you, they don't pigeonhole you.
Nope.
Like they're saying, here's whiskey.
Yep.
Put water. Don't put water. Swizzle it. Don't swizzle it. Fuck,
French
drink it
fries.
out of
Make it you.
the man of the hour drinks it out of a wine glass.
Right.
As far as I know, he drinks it out of a wine glass because it's open and it's like, hello, how
Yep.
you doing? You don't have to drink it out of one of these little silly goose things, man. Just enjoy it. I can't get my. I got
silly
I'm
goose
Italian.
glass.
I'm Italian. It sucks for me.
You and me both. My
Right?
nose, my nose locks in right about
You know
here.
what it is. Open your.
Thank God I was born with lips.
Open your
I was
mind.
like, oh.
Open your mind.
I
Open
gotta
your
stretch
glass,
out.
bro. I got a beak, bro. I can't get it
Luckily,
in
I
there.
fell as a child, so my nose was smushed a bit, so I've got wide open
yeah.
access.
Yeah, you're
You got a mush palate.
Yeah, you're muffed up, bro. I don't know what to do about you.
All right, here's
So-
what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. We gotta close the show. We'll just talk shit for like the next 3 hours. Grant.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, you're in.
So, it may be all of the
No,
whiskey
we're not
that I've
going,
already
yeah.
sampled. All right, never mind.
No, come on, go.
Sorry. So,
It's too late. You're
this
already in.
this whiskey perfume that we have over here,
Yeah, it's just Peat Monster.
it's just Peat Monster in a
Just
spray
whiskey in a
bottle.
bottle.
It's in a spray
Grant,
bottle.
you and I have asked this
So-
question 100 times.
But
Nobody giving us an
basically-
answer.
basically
Somebody
what
answer us.
It's
Basically,
just
all right,
whiskey in a bottle.
all right, here I'm gonna
It's
answer,
the
and I
garnish
don't
for that
know jack
penicillin
shit.
cocktail.
The answer is when occasionally you make a Scotch cocktail, which is now a new thing, right? Like we're making Scotch cocktails now. Great King Street is what we had, right? So we're making this. If we're making the penicillin cocktail,
Yeah.
Great King Street is the main liquor in that cocktail, but it needs just a flash of that peaty nose. And so all you do is give it a little spritz.
But with also
Fret.
the
You go
Yeah,
more
yeah.
extravagant
That
with
stuff
Don't
is
waste it.
amazing.
It's how I'm gonna attract women to my bed
but
later.
you need
So
that syrup in there.
if it
You-
doesn't
you
attract
take-
them, they don't deserve to be there. That's the answer.
Penicillin is great. You take a nice blended scotch, you've got the lemon, you got your syrup, and then after you make the cocktail, you hold the cocktail away and you just spray it in the area. The top of the cocktail and the glass get coated in this scotch, so you touch it with your hands, you smell it, it just adds the aromatic of that peatiness, but the peatiness isn't in the cocktail and overbearing. So you just get that nice little accent of it. So that's why you got the spray bottle. So we'll stand back there and we'll make 3 penicillins at one time. I'll have my glass and I'm just spraying it all over the place like an obnoxious salesperson at a perfume department. Like, everyone, you smell like Scotch now. Congratulations.
Jerry hit me in the hand at the beginning of the show, and I'm still really happy about this hand.
Dude, just a little bit on your wrist, rub it
I
around.
think that's the only time
Oh,
I'll
I
ever
told you,
ask
it
to
mixes
smell
very
your
well with my
hand.
cologne. Put that on at the bar. All
right, so good.
I have it in my Glade Fresh, everything at home.
All right,
It's got-
so
I
here's what
love
I'm
the
doing.
difference.
Final remarks. I'm just gonna go this way. So Grant, final remarks, hammer.
So whiskey is delicious. If you put it in your Glade auto sprayer at home, you definitely want the Peat Monster spray so that it gets on all your clothing, and so you just smell like Scotch all the time.
All day.
And
spice box would be nice,
if
too.
anybody learned
Please.
from Wolf of Wall Street, like you know that you just need to smell like Scotch to smell like
you go.
success. You know, so just Just smell like Scotch, and
So good.
you're gonna make it.
I would say that's a perfect quote. Nick, you're up.
I'm super stoked to be on for the first one.
The Proof
For-
Radio.
Well, obviously my first podcast, but for a rad company, man. A savage company that has gone against the grain, that's delivered amazing flavors
Agreed.
for the people.
Agreed.
Like for the people. As a whiskey fan, couldn't be happier. I love it. There's no like right or wrong. I've been enjoying it with rad people, and just happy to be here. So thank you.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you and thank you.
And you're dead.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for the Gentiles that made this.
Agreed.
And thank you for
Agreed.
Father
Father Flanagan.
for Father Flanagan for kicking down the knowledge.
All right, it's on
And thank you
sir.
for my beautiful wife. So I got that
Oh,
in
yeah,
there.
we thank. Who are we thanking? Thank you for being you. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, we had to have a little,
No, you're right. You gotta do it. No,
Yeah.
yep, you can't. Yeah, you'd fail otherwise. Yeah, she'd be like, "Bitch, I saw that
Sleep on
shit."
the couch, bro.
All right, Jerry.
Clean it.
I have
I'll be
a
on the
couple of
couch.
comments.
Please.
To your friend at the end, please step out of the vehicle and exit and put your hands on the trunk of the car.
All right.
I want to thank you guys. This is the second time I've been here. I've really enjoyed doing this and sharing at least what I know about whiskeys, and I hope you guys have enjoyed all
Amazing.
the flavors.
You've been amazing.
I want to thank John Glazer for letting me represent his whiskeys here in the state of Florida.
Cheers to that. Cheers to
Here's
that.
to John.
And John, when you come in at the end of the month, we'll do a special edition for
You're a
you,
whiskey
baby.
savage, dude. And keep doing what you're doing.
So,
That's syrup.
Yeah, it's good, huh? Awesome. Are you happy?
Don't let people tell you what to do.
Right?
We
Micah.
like whiskey. Do what you gotta do.
Final thoughts?
Yeah, I want to thank all of you fine gentlemen for having me on the show, and
All of you.
I appreciate it. This I just want to say this last 2 weeks has been a huge learning experience for me. I want to thank all the guys and Nicolina and everybody, Turner, Nicholas in New York, Anthony, Paul, everybody that put on Whiskey Obsession. All the guys that came in from Scotland, all over the country, everywhere.
Yeah.
Especially you for promoting it on the show.
Please.
My husband, Gerry. I mean, everybody took part in this festival these last 2 weeks, and I not only learned a lot, I had an amazing time. If you didn't go this year, you're missing out. It's super cool. It's not only very informative, but it's a hell of a good time. And thank you to everybody that participated, and especially Turner, Anthony, Nicholas for putting on a hell of a festival in Sarasota. So cheers to those guys.
Cheers, absolutely.
Slanja.
Connor, last but not least.
Hey, I'm glad I got to join it last
Oh,
minute.
now
I
we're
just
out of
stopped
time.
off to see how you guys were doing. This is an awesome thing. I know Gerry. He's taught me a lot. He's shared plenty of his whiskey knowledge with me. And we've tasted our way through most of this line before and plenty of other things. So it's just kind of fun to come in and join in. And all I can say from here on out is cheers.
Cheers. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cheers,
Folks, if you're just now tuning in, we just went through one of the funniest episodes of The Proof we've ever had. Listen, I couldn't be more grateful to everybody who joined me here today. We have to give a huge shout to Gerry Flanagan for making this opportunity possible for us. Without Gerry, this would not have happened. We would be sitting here trying to talk to you about shit we studied on the internet. Not worth the shit. You have to taste it. You have to experience what's going on here. If you are brand new to this and this is your first episode, this is a really interesting place to start. You may want to go backwards and check out episode 1 and 2 first. If you don't and you want to start right here, I think Gerry has given us the best possible order in which to try things. So don't go out of order. Definitely start at the beginning, work your way up to the stronger beasts. Compass Box, we love you to death. There's no question ever that you all are doing amazing, amazing things in every bottle. If I had the money, I would just constantly keep you around. I just drink too much for that to be a thing.
Well,
What he's saying is he
Nick?
wants free stuff.
you didn't make it to Final Jeopardy, but we have lovely parting gifts for
Oh.
That's so nice.
It is. I'm just gonna chug the Peat Monster Spritzer right now, but I did. Very nice. So what I got was
Just a little dab on each wrist.
Right.
It'll do you good.
a little jar. This is the Balvenie Distillery. I basically just got a dropper so I can add water to my whiskeys, which is absolutely amazing. And then I got, just so on the podcast you know what's up, I got a what is nothing short of a spray bottle of Peat Monster, that I will now wear every time I go out in public. And when the cops were trying to figure things out and be like, you didn't watch the show, what the fuck?
It's almost like sandalwood, but a little stronger.
Sandalwood's my favorite, but this is now my new thing.
There's a reason you call it Ode to DUI.
That's right, Ode to DUI.
Nick, I want to thank you for having me on the show.
Gerry.
I really had a good time.
Folks, Gerry will be back on many episodes because not only is he full of knowledge, he's also a ton of fun. Everybody who showed up here today, 3 of them were a giant surprise, and I'm glad that everybody got to join me today. This show is going to be a little bit wild. You'll see if you watch it that, like, sometimes you just got to add people, and it's going to take me 5 minutes to, like, mic somebody up. But that's how we're going to do things because really, the best thing that we can do for you as somebody who's trying to learn whiskey or is already a whiskey head is to give you more opinions. And that's really what we're aiming for. So every time I can add somebody new who's got a different spin on things, that's what we're going to do for you. Folks, last but not least, let's wrap this bad boy up. Thanks again to all of my guests. It's been a giant... I don't know what to do about this show. It's been really fucking fun. Here's what we're going to do. I'm closing everybody else off. Folks, The Proof is another show that you need to fucking check out in order to be a whiskey head. The next time somebody asks you whether or not you know anything about whiskey, show them The Proof. Cheers.